Sirens call, strong as the tide. None could save her, nor could she hide. Shadows then rose, whispering low, lamenting the dark she came to know. We may never learn what dreams that once had burned, what fate had destined, his gift had wrought for her maddening love.
Yo, man. This music just keeps getting better and better. What's up, chat? What's up? What's up? What's up, Chris? We're always on the same wavelength, Chris. Always on the same wavelength, bro. What's up, everybody? One day and 18 hours, ladies and gentlemen. 1 day, 18 hours and 12 minutes and counting. Wow. Wow. It's almost here, man. It's almost here. You just listening to it? Yeah. It's such a good song, man. Such a good song. So, yeah, apparently there's going to be this songbird. It's a character you'll meet in town of Clarefell. Once you find and return her loot, you'll be able to request her to play songs for you in town. And that was the Siren's Call. Man, this game just gets better and better and better. Whew. Oh my God, Mage and Koba. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. You give me the go ahead and I'll change my titles. Thank you, bro. Just direct message me on Discord. Do you have Discord? Okay. Yeah, Sammy Caps. Sammy Caps. You're not in mine yet? Ooh. Well, you don't have to join if you don't want to, but here, I'll give it to you just in case. Totally up to you. Number, generate link, copy. But yeah, man, thank you. That's awesome. That is awesome, Rooney. Hold on. I would need to do something first, though. I gotta do this one, right? And so we go to, is it giveaways? Here we go. Yeah, but don't post them in general chat, Mage and Koba. Just send me a DM. I'm much appreciated. All right. What is this? POE2 key. 1 POE2 POE2 key giveaway. Okay, but how do people enter, man? No, I don't want to give away that. Oh, wait a minute. This is... Sorry, guys.
Thanks for the follow.
Or Maloyal. Oh, Maloyal. Thank you for the follow. Sorry if I butchered your name, bro. Welcome, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, God. Giveaways. Here we go. Edit. Again, how do they enter? I'll make it 3 minutes. Oh, shit. Hey, what's up, Dennis? Thank you, Majinkova. All right. Now the question is, let me hide this. Oh, no. I can't do it on YouTube. Yeah, no, I know. Okay, so I changed my title. Thank God Twitch is easy. Yeah, this is gonna be a butcher right here. Yeah, everyone. Use timer. 3 minutes. But I don't see ticket cost. Oh no, 1. Whoa. Ticket cost 1. Max tickets 1. No bonuses. No bonuses. I don't want to get thrown in jail. Must be a follower? No. Ticket cost 1, max ticket 1. Okay, but how do they enter? Ah, here we go. We work on the fly here. Oh, sorry. Have you seen Path of Editor's new video yet? No, Galaxy Master.
Today, I'm going to show you how to set up and run a merch giveaway using Streamlabs OBS.
I don't want to do merch.
Giveaways are a great way to engage your community, promote your brand through your merch, and keep your viewers coming back for more. To get started, you're going to want to open up Streamlabs OBS or streamlabs.com and go to the Giveaways tab located on your dashboard. Let's start a giveaway by adding Add Giveaway. You'll see the options for
Galaxy Master, are you talking about the new song? We just listened to it. This one? The Siren's Call?
merch or custom.
Yeah.
Custom allows you to name a non-merch item, like some artwork you created or a game code. In this tutorial, we'll show you how to set up a merch giveaway using a merch item we've already created.
No worries, man.
If you haven't created a merch item yet, do this step first. Check out a link to the merch tutorial video in the description where you can learn how to do this step in just a minute. Once you have a merch item created for the giveaway, select it. In the settings, you can also change things like the timer and permissions. Let's have our giveaway run for an hour and change permissions so that only subscribers and moderators can enter.
How
We can
rude.
now name the giveaway.
Yep.
Under advanced settings, you can also change a couple options. You can require that only followers may win, and also give bonus chances for subscribers to win. Let's enable followers and give 3 extra tickets for each subscriber entry. Now we can click Add. Back on the giveaway menu, before starting our giveaway, let's check out the settings. The giveaway is conducted through Streamlabs in your chat, and you'll need to make sure you mod Streamlabs. In Twitch, you can do this by going to your channel and typing /mod Streamlabs. You can tailor the messages for the giveaway commands in the settings.
I don't have that.
Let's keep !raffle as the command for viewers to enter, but change the message to holy cow at username just bought amount tickets. Good luck. You can also change the announcement, closing.
We don't have that. Ah, here it is. Whew. We found it. Okay, let's do raffle since everyone's used to that. Thank you. Whew. All right. So, raffle at Sammy Caps, you've entered the giveaway. At Sammy Caps, giveaway has started for Blup. Use Blup to enter the giveaway. A prize giveaway has started for chat lines. Use repeat message. A prize giveaway is going on. Whatever prize giveaway going on. Use luck. 1 max enter the giveaway. Each ticket costs. Yeah, 2 days, Dennis. Okay. So what is it? It's raffle. I'm going to copy that. We're going to save. Okay, perfect. There you go. Edit. So POE2. 3 minutes. There's no cost. You just got to enter. Okay, that should work. Okay, so we're set up for it, it looks like. Okay, so we're Gucci. Yeah, so this is...
Sirens call.
This is really good, actually.
As the tide, none could save her, nor could she hide. Shadows then rose, whispering low, lamenting the dark she came to know. We may never learn what dreams that once had burned, what fate had destined, his gift had wrought for her maddening love.
So good. Man, oh man, oh man. Anyway, one day, boys, one day. And how's everyone doing today? Did everyone see my tweet? Did everyone see my tweet? So I basically made a to-do list for everyone. So take notes. 2 more sleeps until the epic journey begins in POE2 early access. Enough has been covered and said. It's time for the rubber to hit the road. To-do list over the next 2 days. You guys got your pen and paper out? Okay. So number 1, alert your family and friends. You're going off the grid. They ain't gonna see you. Hey, down the rabbit hole. Asked a couple of days ago if you can reset a zone in POE, and I found out that they do reset, so you're able to respawn monsters if you need to over level. Yeah, thank you, down the rabbit hole. We actually thank you and welcome again. Yeah, we learned through the hardcore discussion that Zizaran had with Jonathan, and it was around the bosses, and the discussion was around the fact that, you know, once you fight a boss, are you stuck? Like either he dies or you die kind of thing. So apparently there's an escape. You can hit escape, which immediately pauses the game so you can't die. And then there's an option to, you know, return back and reset the area. So yeah, that's good. So we can reset the zone and to your point, level. I'm going to allow 1 beer if the servers catch fire. Yeah. Okay, stock up on grub. Never had beef. We talked about this the other night. Hopefully I don't forget to get it. I'm going to go tomorrow. Stock up on grub. Never had beef jerky, so my community insisted I add it to the grocery list, but just stock up on food. The less time you're spending away from your monitor or console or whatever, the more time you're playing. So that's important. You need to be organized. So stock up on grub. We're going to be sitting for a long time. So get your workouts done. Okay? Get your walk in, go to the gym, get it out of the way, because you ain't going to be doing much for however long you're planning on playing. How long you're playing the early access. Now, so for me, it's going to be Friday to Monday nonstop, only sleep breaks. So get them done. Get your body as good as you can. get as much rest as possible, obviously. Not going to lie, this is going to be tough. I'm so excited. Yeah, I have not. I've been going to bed really late and getting up really early just because I can't shut my mind off. And that is a contribution of a lot of things, but one of the top ones is the early access coming on Friday. PC desk monitor maintenance, clean all thoroughly. And for the love of God, please make sure you have enough space for the download. So we're going to be able to download the game tomorrow for the PC players. So please check your space. Make sure you have enough. I have two 2 terabyte SSDs and C and my D drive. They're both 2 terabytes. And my C drive is like 95% used. So I'm going to be spending some time I do have enough space right now, but I want to clean it even more. I'm going to get rid of some crap. Also, I've ordered air compressor or the air, the sprayer thing. I'm going to get it tomorrow. This desk is going to be clean. My keyboard and my PC is going to get a major blow. What's going to be bad if the servers have overload issues and it pushes us back a couple of days? Oh my God, I hope not. I hope not. I know what I will be doing. I will be sending an email to work and saying, cancel. I need to change my dates. That's the whole reason I need a new computer soon. My OS drive is only 500 gig SSD. It's just cramping me so much. Yeah, Majin Koba. I don't know about you. Okay, so, I have a lot of video content and VODs. I don't buy anything. I used to go 500 gigs. That was my, that was my bare minimum, 500. But probably 2 years ago, I started going 1 terabyte. And 3 years ago, when I upgraded my PC, I said, fuck it. I'm getting two terabytes. And my D drive is literally empty. And my C drive is getting very close. So I need to start moving non-gaming stuff over to my D drive. But anyway, clean. Make sure your computers, consoles are all ready to go. Get all the dust off of it. Your controllers, your mouse, your mice, your keyboards, all that stuff. Clean. No bullshit. Hydrate. Make sure you have enough water around you. Again, the concept here is not to get up and leave. So have enough water around. Of course, just a couple of cold pops. For me, my problem is going to be the caffeine. I'm the one that makes the coffee in the house. Now I'm going to tell my wife to make coffee, but she's not the best at remembering stuff. Not the best. So that is potentially going to be a stopgap for me. But I haven't cleaned it yet, but literally right here, I'm literally touching it. It's right here. I'm touching it right now. That's how close it is. I have an espresso machine here. Hello. What's up, Draconic? So that's going to get cleaned. I'm going to top it up. I'm going to put water so worst case scenario, when I need that little caffeine push, I literally just push the button here. So get the shit close to you so you're not wasting time. And then obviously take the next 2 days to train your bladder and minimize washroom breaks, okay? That is going to be a problem for me because I do a lot of coffee drinking and I do a lot of water drinking. And if I slide in a couple of pops here and there, you know what they say, right? Once you break the seal. So I'm really concerned about that because I drink a lot of coffee. And, obviously during the day, it doesn't matter that, I got to go take a whiz. But anyway, and, what did I forget? So get in there, guys. Like the video. Like the video. Like the tweet. Put in your 2 cents. What did I forget? Did I forget anything? I think that covers it all. I just bought a gaming rig, which is a huge upgrade. I picked it up today. So, oh, down the rabbit hole. Nice. Hydix and None. You guys with the complicated names, man. Sorry for butchering your name. Welcome. Follow. Thank you for the follow. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Okay, so as far as tonight is concerned, it's going to be obviously not as long as a stream. We've been doing this all week. We're kind of doing like a 3.5, 4 hour stream max. Just because we're pacing ourselves and we got a long haul starting Friday. So I kind of wanted to, I'm staying away from like all this stuff. You know, this and ascendancies were dropped. So everybody is kind of theory crafting right now. I kind of want to stay away from that. So I thought tonight we would start watching the lore, because I have no idea on the lore in Path of Exile, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to walk into Path of Exile 2, kind of knowing a little bit about it. Thank you for the follow, man. Dark Malakan, thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate it. So Kitten, Cat, and Noodle. Kitten, Cat, Noodle. Everyone mentions her. So I kind of thought we would watch this together. For those of you that know the lore, I guess this will be a little bit repetitive for you. I have no idea. Draconic, what did I miss? Chayula Monk looks strong with the duration gem and 50% effect. Duration from the tree. Those lucid purple flames have a 21-second duration. If flame types are equally weighted and you crit every second, it's feasible to maintain 7 purple flames for 98% damage gained as chaos, even on bosses. Jesus. Apologies. By all means, going blind is... don't apologize, Draconic. No. I don't mind you guys talking about shit, about builds. No. I'm not going in that blind. Like, if something comes up, something comes up. Don't stop conversation because of me. I'm not going in that restrictive, okay? Like, I literally have looked, you know, I'm not going to lie. Like, I looked at just everything here, you know, I pulled out all the stuff here and just, you know, look. Nothing wrong with it. I don't have a problem with that. I just don't want to go too deep. I do want, you know, I've been toying with this back and forth because going in semi-blind is going to make my stream playthrough much slower, but I don't give a shit. I'm going to play this game. I'm not going to succumb to the pressure of when I'm streaming, which I always do. I don't care if I'm super behind and super slow and I'm reading nodes over and over and debating which way to go. That's the way it is. Hydix-san, when is the giveaway? We're gonna probably do one in about an hour or so. Thank you to Mage and Koba. So this is a community. These keys were given by the community, and Mage and Koba, thank you so much. Okay. But anyway, Draconic, fire away, man. Talk anything you want to talk about. It doesn't bother me. It's going to be fun going in blind. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy. Okay. So, are you guys ready for some lore? I know we've been covering like all the latest and greatest information and updates and watching videos and but I kind of like this, that we started talking about the lore last week, and I'm glad you guys brought it up, because I think it's a beautiful way to enter into a new era in Rayclass, right? Apparently, Path of Exile 2 takes place, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, is it 20 or 25 years after Path of Exile? I think it's like 25 years after. So again, I don't know anything about the lore in POE, so story time. Yeah. Thank you for the follow. I can't read that writing, but thank you. Okay, boys, let's go.
Hello, Exile, and welcome to Noodle's first video in the lore series on Path of Exile. This video covers Act 1. Let's get started.
You guys tell me if it's too loud, okay?
Path of Exile is an action RPG that takes place on the fictional continent of Rayclast. Rayclast has been devastated by a massive apocalyptic event called the Cataclysm that took place 300 years before you start the game. To the southeast of Rayclast is an island called Oriath, which has remained untouched by the Cataclysm. In the beginning of this game, you choose one of 7 characters banished or exiled from Oriath. You are sent to Rayclast by ship as punishment for your crimes in Oriath by the High Templar named Dominus. It is currently the year 1599 IC, which stands for Imperialis Conceptus, or Conception of the Empire. The empire conceived was called the Eternal Empire, and its people were called the Eternals. The empire ruled from Rayclast, but it rules no longer. Now the High Templars of Oriath are in power. Written history of Rayclast dates back to 900 BIC, but it is believed that long before then people and gods themselves roamed the world. The High Templars rule Oriath from the capital city of Theopolis, and its people are the Oriath. The continent of Rayclast has many different peoples currently living on it: the Asmiri, the Eternals, the Maraketh, the Ezamites, some Karui captives, and other exiles of Oriath like yourself. The Cataclysm has had many different devastating effects across Rayclast for the past 300 years. On our journey from Oriath to Rayclast, our ship wrecks. We wash up on the coast just south of a small town called Lionized Watch. As we travel around Rayclast, we discover the rich history of civilizations, past and present. And while many terms and people I'm about to name may be unfamiliar, pieces will fall into place as we continue. Lionized Watch is an abandoned Eternal Army stronghold of Marcius Lioni, who defended against attacks led by Kaum, leader of the Karui 300 years ago. Marcius Lioni was a gemling captain of the Eternal Army, supported by the Emperor Chittus Perandus. A gemling is a person who has been implanted with virtue gems to give them more power. We will learn more about these soon. Kaum's attack was plotted by High Templar Vol, who led the Purity Rebellion, which we will learn more about later as well. I know it's a lot of information. Trust me, we will hear more about this.
My brain hurts already. This is bringing me back to school.
At the time, the High Templars were a religious order, not rulers. Kaum led his Karui to this south coast on canoes, the same coast we wake up on, to lay siege to Lionized Watch. Marcius Lioni, so named because he was missing an eye but had it replaced with a golden gem, met the siege with his Gemling Legion.
Thank you for the follow,
After
Sophie.
some fighting, the Karui turned and fled, and Marcius Lioni and his army followed, assuming Kaum had given up.
What's the end game in POE2, Alessio? You just do pits till level 200.
It was known by many, including Marcius, that the Karui only fought with blades in melee combat, as was their tradition. Thus, when Kaum's melee army fled, Marcius believed that was his entire force, as no ranged tactics were used by the Karui traditionally. However, the clever Hiri, Kaum's niece, had noticed this tradition spoke only of men, so with Kaum's permission, she and all the Karui women trained with Vol's greatest archers. And when Marcius's army gave chase to the Karui led by Kaum, Hiri and her bow women laid waste to them. With that, around 1319 IC, Lionized Watch fell to the Karui. The Karui turned Lionized Watch and its surroundings into the first Karui settlement on Rayclast, as the Karui are native to the island Namakanui. When the Cataclysm began, the Watch was abandoned and eventually taken over by some exiles of Oriath. When our chosen exile wakes up on the beach, we must fight through undead and monsters to find the entrance to Lionai's Watch, which is guarded by a very large undead man, the blacksmith Hillock. Hillock was an exile himself, accused of raping and killing many people, including children, back in Oriath.
He was a rapist? Son of a bitch.
He has been terrorizing the area around Lionai's Watch. Once we kill Hillock, we are let into Lionai's Watch to meet 3 other Oriathan exiles, Nessa, Bestel, and Tarkley. Nessa is a kind woman originally from Theopolis who takes care of the exiles in this watch. Bestel, the only survivor of the Marigold's shipwreck, is an aspiring poet. And Tarkley, a former pirate and now protector of Lionai's Watch. Having proven ourselves fit and uncorrupted by slaying Hillock, these exiles ask for some help with simple tasks, such as fetching a medicine kit and exploring the carnage around the Watch. We discover that the Cataclysm has not only risen the dead in the area, but also corrupted the wildlife. Quests have us traveling farther north to search for additional supplies or impending threats on Lionai's Watch. As we make our way further inland on Rayclast, we learn through carvings what befell Kaum and his Karui that lingered in the area when the Cataclysm began, 20 years after the fall of Lionai's Watch to the Karui. As mentioned, the Karui's home is Namakanui, which is an island to the south of Rayclast and west of Oriath. The Karui have long been captured and enslaved by Oriathans and Eternals. High Templar Vol asked King Kaum to assist in the Purity Rebellion, and in return the enslaved Karui would be freed. Kaum agreed and successfully overthrew Lionai's Watch, as mentioned. Kaum and his remaining warriors slaughtered the local Eternal citizens while creating their settlement. Once the Cataclysm hit, the dead on both sides of that battle rose up and began to attack the remaining Karui near Lionai's Watch. The normal practice of the Karui was to bury their dead to honor them, but, quote, "The earth of Rayclast rejects the dead. The black spirit of storm and dream now reaches into the ground and raises up our slain imperial foes. It leads the fallen from their graves and drives them to fight us beyond the end. Rotted tooth and jagged nail. Our own remembered have joined their cursed ranks." Now Kaum instructed his people to begin burning the bodies that had risen. However, the Cataclysm also corrupts the living. The local animals turned into monsters, and from writings we can infer that Kaum himself was driven to madness by the Cataclysm. Kaum resumed ancient and abandoned traditions of the Karui, including sacrificing and consuming the flesh of his own people. Kaum's journey from triumph to desperation to madness are written across Act 1 on the weathered carvings. Many of the writings about this time are from Lavianja, Kaum's advisor. Some are from Kaum himself. Kaum claimed he could hear the ancestors call to him, including the Karui god Tukahama. Kaum had dreams that Tukahama left an offering that will save the Karui, so Kaum led his people north, farther inland the continent of Rayclast. Kaum brought his 500 finest warriors all the way to Highgate, into the mines under Mount Veruso, which we will learn more about in Act 4. As we make our way inland up the climb, we run into a Karui woman named Navali. Navali is being held in a cage surrounded by goatmen. When we approach, the goatmen all scatter or get crushed as a much larger goatman named the Fawn appears. When we kill the Fawn, we free Navali, a Karui Hatungo, or wise woman, who is actually an undead. However, she seems friendly and competent, and tells us that she can see visions of the future. These visions of the future can be purchased from Navali from this point onwards using silver coins. What silver coins represent or where they come from is unknown, but prophecies from Navali are their only use. The Axiom prison sits at the top of the climb, seemingly abandoned. Returning to Lionai's Watch, we learn that the warden Brutus still resides in the prison and has since the Purity Rebellion. Brutus was turned into a monster using thaumaturgical virtue gems. Don't worry, I will explain more about these gems, but fun fact, the gems we use, skill and support gems, are virtue gems. Chevron of Umbra was a gifted thaumaturgist working as a student under Malachi, who we will also discuss more in a later video. Thaumaturgy is defined as miracle working, but in the context of Path of Exile, it refers to the practice of magic, specifically related to magic and experimentation involving these powerful virtue gems. Following the success of Kaum's siege on Lion Eye's watch, Malachi was concerned the Karui would turn their attentions on the Empire. Chevron was instructed to have Brutus stop the Karui from ever reaching the inland of Rayclast. Brutus, as he aged, had become interested in darker arts to preserve his life and strength. Brutus agreed to keep the Karui from passing, and also agreed to Chevron's thaumaturgy in hopes of becoming a more powerful being. After an agonizing, days-long experiment, Chevron was successful in implanting a thaumaturgical gem into Brutus, but Brutus was too powerful, and killed Chevron and all her aides once he awoke. Any remaining guards fled the prison and locked him inside. It is said Brutus beat his arms to a bloody pulp trying to break free. For 300 years, Brutus has resided in the prison as this thaumaturgical monster. As we approach the warden's quarters of the prison, a woman stands above us, looking through Chevron's notebook on thaumaturgy that was left behind. This woman is Piety, who we will come to know quite well in our adventures. She is surprised to see an exile in the prison and leaves quickly. To continue on to inland Rayclast, we must defeat Brutus. Upon his defeat, we exit the prison into an area called Prisoner's Gate. We follow the road north and find Piety again, standing at the gate. Using her own powers of thaumaturgy, Piety locks the gate and bars access inland. We must find our own way inland, exile. After the Purity Rebellion, Chevron had created this thaumaturgical gate as a second defense against the Karui traveling inland. It seems Piety has thaumaturgical power to rival that of Chevron from 300 years ago. We will learn much more about Piety in future acts, but for now we know Piety as a woman from Oriath who works with a group called the Blackguards. The Blackguards work for the High Templars who currently rule Oriath. We need to find a way past the gate, and as we explore the area we find a path to the ship graveyard, a gloomy coastal landscape. Since Brutus has remained alive, trapped in the prison, we can infer Kaum never bothered going through the prison. It seems Kaum and his followers have traveled here as well, as indicated by the weathered carvings, likely taking this path or canoes from the coast to this ship graveyard. We read a carving that tells of how Kaum and his 500 finest warriors continued on, while the remaining Karui of the settlement, led by Kaum's niece Hiri, took canoes back to Namakanui. In this ship graveyard, we run into the ghostly Captain Fairgraves, who is stuck on the coast with his ship until we can retrieve his All-Flame. Fairgraves warns us of Mervale, a siren who lives in the caverns to the north, and also asks us to retrieve his All-Flame from the slave girl who stole it. From Bestel, we learn a bit about Fairgraves himself. He was a poet and a famous sailor who worked for High Templar Dominus. Using Karui's slave labor, he traveled around gathering documents about thaumaturgy for Dominus. He had been missing for the last 30 years, apparently stuck right here in the ship graveyard. When we return the All-Flame to Fairgraves, he reveals that the All-Flame could revive Fairgraves by taking life from others, planning to take our life for his own. Jerk. After a fight, Fairgraves disappears. For now. The caves to the north can take us further inland, but as Fairgraves warned, they are home to Mervale and her daughters. This cave system is called Siren's Cove. Mervale is the final boss of Act 1, and one of the saddest stories we come across. Mervale was a beautiful Oriathan woman who traveled to Rayclast to attend the fights in the grand arena of Sarn. She was spotted by the soon-to-be champion and king of swords, Duresso, as he fought. When Duresso won his title, he shouted out to Mervale to marry him, and she accepted. Duresso's engagement gift to Mervale was the Star of Rayclast, a beautiful but cursed necklace. The Star of Rayclast held a virtue gem that was implanted in the throat of a woman named Kalisa Mas, an opera singer. She became a prolific singer through the power of this gem to a terrifying extent. A Sarn poet named Victorio wrote that, quote, "The gem at Kalisa's throat sparkled with starlight brilliance as her C-sharp shattered every pane of glass in the auditorium." Khaleesi died at her final opera performance, and her gem was removed and put into the Star of Rayclast. At first, she simply coveted the necklace, wearing it constantly and lashing out at anyone who touched it, you know, clawing out the eye of a girl who touched the Star of Rayclast at a party. Normal behavior. It had given her a beautiful singing voice, but it began to change her. Mervale would sneak out into the night, wandering the streets, coming home cold and covered in seaweed and slime. Her body became covered in odd lumps, her skin was blotchy, her teeth grew long and sharp. Mervale was pregnant at the time with Duresso's child and began to talk excitedly about the children she would have, how they'd be as beautiful as she was becoming. Duresso snuck out in the middle of the night and fled to Sarn to find a cure for this curse. Finding Duresso gone, Mervale ran to the sea and screamed. She waited on the beach for days, eating fish as her transformation continued. He never returned. Transformed into a terrifying tentacled siren, Mervale crawled into nearby caverns and gave birth to her first daughter. The cave systems under the continent of Rayclast are immense, spanning from Oriath to Siren's Cove and farther east, as we will discover in Act 6. She has remained in these cave systems ever since, still wearing the Star of Rayclast. Using her siren song, she lures sailors to their death, hence the ship graveyard.
It comes out this Friday, Dr. Demented. How you doing, man? This Friday afternoon for Eastern Standard Time. 11 a.m. PST, 2 p.m. EST. Early access, that is.
Feed herself and her daughters. Given the number of Mervale's daughters, it is possible she also mates with the shipwrecked sailors before eating them. She still believes Duresso will return, on one hand cursing him for leaving and not seeing her beauty, on the other pining for him. Upon killing Mervale, we exit the caverns and find ourselves in the southern forest, which is the beginning of Act 2. Welcome back, Exile, to another video in Noodle's complete lore series. This video covers Act 2.
Pretty interesting so far. Man, the amount of details she goes into is crazy.
Let's get started. When we emerge from the caves of Siren's Cove, we are in the lush southern forest. It's a short trip to the forest encampment located at the southern tip of Lake Constance in the Frisian Forest. This small gathering has 4 new characters: Groost, Yena, Silk, and Aramir. Groost, Yena, and Silk are all Asmiri, a people from the Asmirian ranges to the west. Their culture is older than the Empire, and older even than written history. It was the Asmirian Tarkus Veruso who descended from the mountain ranges to found the Eternal Empire in 1 IC. Groost is a warrior for the Asmiri, currently in the forest encampment, who is protective of his people and mistrustful of foreigners. Silk is a hunter, but also a storyteller, which Yena claims have some truth behind their embellishment.
You only played the campaign once, Mage and Koba? Really? Interesting. Yeah, but it's amazing how these lore videos bring... Yeah, it's nice. It's nice how it ties everything to the campaign, right? As we play it. It's really cool, actually.
Silk and Groost seem to be rivals. Yena is a compassionate woman who can speak to the spirit, which gives her guidance. We learn from Groost that a group of Oriath guards traveled through the encampment and headed east. Aramir is an exile like yourself. He was formerly a scholar in the Great Library of Oriath, and his vast knowledge of Asmiri history has given him acceptance, although tentative for some, into this Asmiri group. Aramir used to work for High Templar Dominus, collecting and translating documents primarily about thaumaturgy from the likes of Fairgraves and Duresso. Aramir claims to regret his work for Dominus, but it has given him much knowledge. Fun fact, Xana calls Aramir Uncle, as he also worked alongside Valdo Caesarius, who is Xana's father and, spoilers, the Shaper. We make our way east to follow the Blackguards and find the aptly named Crossroads.
Thanks for the follow, Friction.
We follow the path north to the Chamber of Sins. The ruling emperor during the Purity Rebellion, Chittus Perandus, had this thaumaturgical laboratory known as the Chamber of Sins, built for a man named Inquisitor Maligaro. Malagaro, like Chevron, was another student of Malachi in thaumaturgy. Malagaro considered himself an artist, interested in studying the most extreme of human emotions. The Chamber of Sins was built for Malagaro to create more powerful and diverse thaumaturgical tools, more potent than existing virtue gems. In the center of the first floor of the Chamber of Sins is the Reverie device, which many players will recognize as a map device. There is a note on the device from Malachi to Inquisitor Malagaro, telling him he must mentally prepare for his experimental transformation of virtue gems and to master conscious dreaming, which is a cryptic hint to the use of the Reverie device. We make our way downstairs and enter a long chamber where we see Piety running away, towards us but on the other side of a large chasm, and she escapes. Piety challenges us to find her in the city of Sarn as she leaves. Just ahead, a woman is hiding and warns us of a thing that has slaughtered everyone. Here we encounter the monstrously deformed Spider-Man named Fidelitas the Morning. Please forgive my pronunciation of this name. I have no idea how to pronounce it correctly. Fidelitas was once Malagaro's assistant, a man named Raulo. Raulo was highly devoted to Malagaro and his work, and some believe Raulo was in love with Malagaro. Raulo allegedly offered himself as a test subject for Malagaro's thaumaturgical experiments. Malagaro took advantage of this devotion and injected Raulo with calibric extantia, which is the essence of a virtue gem. And Raulo became this monster, which Malagaro named Fidelitas, after fidelity, or loyalty. Fidelitas has been here since before the Purity Rebellion began in 1319 IC. After killing him, the woman steps out of hiding and introduces herself as Helena. Helena was a blackguard working for Piety. Piety had come to the Chamber of Sins seeking one of Inquisitor Malagaro's creations called the Baleful Gem, which we have picked up after defeating Fidelitas. Apparently, Piety was not aware of Fidelitas's presence, and the entire Blackguard group besides Piety and Helena were killed. Piety deserted Helena and escaped, as we saw, and now Helena swears to help us track down and stop Piety. The Baleful Gem is one of Malagaro's experiments on enhancing virtue gems. Apparently, the experiment itself was a failure, but Helena tells us that the Baleful Gem and venom from one of Malagaro's arachnids can create a powerful poison called the Black Elixir. Inquisitor Malagaro has made the Black Elixir before, claiming it as the most potent poison in existence. Helena returns with us to the forest encampment and tells us what Piety's plans were in this area. Besides the Baleful Gem, Piety was looking for the instrument for injecting calibric extantia, or essence of virtue gem, which is referred to as Malagaro's spike. Helena's arrival stirs mixed feelings in the forest encampment. Most are distrustful. But we have proven our power by defeating Fidelitas, so the members of the encampment ask us to help with other quests in exchange for helping us find Piety. Yena has already asked us to kill a large bear called the Great White Beast. If you have, she will ask you to go to the Fellshrine ruins and retrieve the Good Man's Hand. Aramir asks us to handle 3 bandits that live in camps across the Frisian forest, who are fighting for control over the area. Apparently, each bandit took a piece of a small pyramid that the encampment held, an artifact that granted enhanced strength. If we collect the 3 pieces, we can make the small pyramid whole and grant some peace to the encampment. We learn that the overly large beasts in the area are all experiments of Malagaro, including the Great White Beast and a large spider to the west named the Weaver. Silk tells us that he had Malagaro's spike, not knowing its history, and that it was his favorite weapon, but he lost it trying to fight the Weaver. To the south of the crossroads are the Fellshrine ruins. The Fellshrine ruins were once the Frisia Cathedral, presided over by Archbishop Joffrey. Joffrey was a Templar and starkly anti-thaumaturgy. He was horrified that Emperor Chittis had allowed Malagaro's laboratory, a place for extreme thaumaturgical experiments on beasts and people alike, to be built so close to his cathedral. In part due to this disgust, Archbishop Joffrey plotted with the leader of the Purity Rebellion, High Templar Vol, to kill Malagaro and destroy the laboratory that Joffrey himself dubbed the Chamber of Sins. Malagaro learned of this plan. When Joffrey sent men to attack the laboratory, they were killed, and Malagaro sent his own men to kill Joffrey in his cathedral and succeeded. Archbishop Joffrey's spirit was brought back to life by the cataclysm and remains in the ruins of the cathedral to this day, at the Golden Hand Shrine where he was killed. You can kill Joffrey to safely get the hand, or avoid his attacks and take the hand, leaving his spirit there. The three bandits vying for power over the Frisian forest are Creighton, Oak, and Alira. All three are Oriath exiles. The three were assisting a woman named Lily Roth, who we will meet later, in retrieving an artifact called the Teardrop from the Templars in Theopolis. The three bandits reside in different areas of the forest, and you can either help one bandit and receive their reward, or kill all the bandits and receive Aramir's reward. With either choice, we can collect the 3 parts to complete the small pyramid called the Apex that was stolen from the Asmiri. Creighton lives east of the crossroads on the Broken Bridge. Oak is northwest of the encampment in the wetlands. Alira is in the western forest. In this western forest, we also see the other side of the gate Piety sealed in Act 1. We can kill her lover, Captain Artiri, to unlock this gate. The small pyramid is an ancient artifact that has resided with these Asmiri descendants for some time. But the Asmiri are not known for pyramids.
Hi, Sophie, please. Hello.
There is an ancient civilization come and gone that lived alongside the Asmiri that are known for pyramids, a civilization we will learn much about, called the Val. In the western forest, we find groups of trees covered in spiderwebs indicating the entrance to the Weaver's chambers, where Malagaro's spike was dropped. We must fight our way through a maze of spiders to find and kill the Weaver, a large spider that was once Malagaro's experiment.
How are you?
We know that Malagaro's spike was used as a tool to inject Calibric extantia, but we can also use it to contain venom from the Weaver, which combined with the baleful gem makes the powerful poison Black Elixir. Up in the wetlands, there is an old tunnel covered by the roots of the great tree Lorata. Aramir says this is the oldest tree in this part of the continent, which means it must die. We learn that this entrance is likely to an old Val ruin. Helena tells us that Piety, along with studying the works of Malachi's students, is greatly interested in the Val. Piety, Helena, and the Blackguards had tried to enter this area beneath Lorata's roots to no avail. With the Black Elixir, we are able to poison the roots of this great tree and enter the Val ruins. The Val ruins are filled with sarcophagi, and Aramir refers to the place as a tomb. The Val civilization lasted from at least 900 BIC, the recorded first contact with the Asmiri people, until the fall of the Val in 400 BIC. Piety is interested in the Val because the Val were a people who used thaumaturgy and virtue gems, which they called tears of Magi. Pardon pronunciation again. The Val were the first to create and use virtue gems that we know of. Fun fact.
I literally would be saying that every 3 minutes.
The difference between regular skill gems and Val skill gems is the need for sacrifice, killing enemies and harvesting their souls to utilize a Val gem.
Thank you, Pulse UK. Thank you.
While we eventually learn a lot about Val culture and its various traces found in modern Rayclass, the significance of these particular ruins are a mystery. As we make our way through the maze-like ruins, we must break an ancient seal that blocks our path forward. Once we release the seal, the entire forest is blanketed in darkness. By releasing the seal, we have awakened something. When Tarkus Varuso founded the Empire, he intentionally did so on the ruins of the Val, saying, "The Val closed their eyes to flesh and stone, to blood and bronze. We are not Val. We are Asmiri. For now and forever, our eyes are open." It is written by Trinian, historian of the Val and Eternal Empire and Intellectus Prime during the Cataclysm 300 years ago, that in 5 IC, shortly after the Eternal Empire was founded, a darkness overtook the lands around Sarn. Some believed it to be a strange weather pattern described as perpetual night. Emperor Caspero, the second emperor, was found dismembered by something referred to as a dark being, only 5 years after he began his reign. In 35 IC, General Alano Frisia led a group into the lair of this beast, in the former realm of the Val, and sealed it away for eternity, wink, ending the perpetual night. It is likely that the seal we release that causes the darkness is this same seal from General Frisia in 35 IC. It's also possible this forest was named after Frisia for his heroism in sealing this dark being. So good job us for undoing that. We continue past the broken seal, through the northern forest to the caverns, which sprawl underground, and eventually dump out into the base of a large Val pyramid. We ascend the levels of the pyramid, ending up in the apex where a dark altar sits. The altar is missing the very top of its pyramid, which is the same size as our small pyramid we restored from the bandits. Placing our pyramid onto the altar, a rumbling begins, and a large being called the Val Oversoul looms before us. The altar itself seems to be the body of this strange mechanical beast. This dark being is what killed Emperor Caspero. Rather than sealing the dark being away once more, we fight it. Upon defeating the Val Oversoul, a feat no one before us could accomplish, the darkness dissipates. Another rumbling is heard, and a passage opens up from the top of the pyramid, leading us to the outskirts of Sarn. Welcome back, Exile.
Way to go. We're in Act 3, guys. You got a bunch of honey bunches of oats and coconut milk. Wow. There is a champion's recipe right there, Real Caged. All right, how much are we into this? All right, we're 30 minutes in. How long is this thing? Wow, it's an hour and a half. Well, at least I'm going to do a lot of less talking. That's for sure. Actually, I think it may be almond milk. I am not a fan of coconut milk. I'm not a fan of almond milk, although it's in the house. I'm a regular milk person. I wish I could get into almond milk and coconut milk. I may be off here, but I think they're sweeter than regular milk, and I sweetness in certain things turns me off. I can't drink my calories. Understood. You're better off, believe me. You are better off. All right. Act 3. Act 3 is about 20 minutes. Yeah, it looks like they're all about the same. This one only takes us to Act 5. Okay, cool.
To another video in Noodle's Complete Lore series. This video is...
Sorry, guys. I'm trying not to interrupt, so obviously I'm not talking as much. Usually you guys can't shut me up. So you're getting your wish tonight. Very low talking by me. I don't want to interrupt her. She does a great job, by the way. Very good. All right, Act 3.
Act 3, and it is a doozy. So buckle up and let's get started.
Buckle up.
When we emerge from the Val Pyramid of Act 2, we find ourselves in the outskirts of the city of Sarn. We follow the Chittis River up north, getting closer to the city's center. On our way, we run into a woman being held hostage by...
It's like reading a book, right? Real Caged? When the material is complicated, it's like a lullaby.
Piety's blackguards. This is Clarissa, an exile of Oriath.
Gotcha.
When we defeat the blackguards surrounding her, Clarissa tells us that she and her boyfriend Tolman were found by Piety herself, and Piety has taken Tolman. She asks us to find Tolman for her and agrees to meet us at the encampment by the Grand Arena of Sarn. Sarn is the first city founded in the Eternal Empire by the Asmiri Tarkus Varuso, established in 1 IC. Varuso came down from the Asmirian mountain ranges through the Doomlands to Azala Val, where Queen Adziri reigned until the fall of the Val. Sarn is built on these Val ruins. We saw other ruins of the Val in Act 2, as the Val were a powerful, sprawling culture from 900 to 400 BIC. Varuso sealed off everything Val, including the pyramid we escaped from, and banned thaumaturgy and those who meddled with it. The city of Sarn was the seat of the empire until the Purity Rebellion of 1333 IC. Sarn is where the final battle of the Purity Rebellion took place in 1334 IC, with High Templar Vol leading his many armies against Sarn and the reigning emperor Chittis Perandus. Vol gathered support from the Karui, led by Kaum, as well as the Ezamites and the Maraketh. Vol even sowed distrust of Emperor Chittis amongst the common people of the empire and those concerned with the use of virtue gems and thaumaturgy that Chittis coveted. Now that the High Templars are in power and the Cataclysm has wrecked Rayclast, they rule from Oriath. The Sarn encampment is built near the ruins of the Grand Arena of Sarn, which stands in the middle of Sarn surrounded by the waters of the Chittis River. Within Sarn there are 2 temples, one for the sun god Solaris and one for the moon god Lunaris. There is an expansive marketplace, a library, and a cathedral built by Emperor Chittis. Clarissa is at the Sarn encampment along with Hargan, Maramoa, and Grigor. We learn that Clarissa was once into thaumaturgy herself, and has known Piety since before she took the name Piety. Piety, when she was known as Vinya, used to purchase ingredients for thaumaturgy from Clarissa back in Theopolis. Clarissa was exiled to Rayclast because her father gambled away their money and the family had to do illegal work to keep fed.
Gambler.
In fact, Hargan helped procure Clarissa and her family this work back in Theopolis. Hargan is an Oriath who seems knowledgeable of black market dealings and the underground, past and present. He's quite jovial, but the others warn you he does not give anything without expecting something in return. Maramoa is a Karui, but was exiled from Oriath as well. Maramoa is a warrior, but she is also extremely knowledgeable about history. Grigor is an Ezamite man who is horribly disfigured from the thaumaturgical experiments Piety practiced on him. He was caught by General Gravisius, one of Piety's blackguards, while trying to find the remains of the fabled Gemling Queen in the Solaris Temple. Gravisius gave Grigor to Piety as his punishment. Clarissa knows General Gravisius as well, from back on Oriath, where he was working for the current ruler, High Templar Dominus. Both Piety and Gravisius are now on Rayclast. Knowing that Piety has Tolman, we exit the Sarn encampment into the slums to find them. We wander past a locked entrance to the sewers and eventually find the crematorium. The crematorium itself is pretty self-explanatory, although it seems to have prison cells as well. When we enter, we can hear screams, which we can presume are Tolman. We find Piety and her blackguards around a chair which Tolman has been strapped to. We attack Piety, but at the last minute she escapes once again.
She never
Tolman
friggin'
has
dies.
Unfortunately passed, and we retrieve his bracelet to return to Clarissa as proof we had found him. We return Tolman's bracelet, and Clarissa gives us keys to the sewer we passed earlier, which can be navigated to get deeper into the city and hopefully find Piety. Hargan tells us if we're going through the sewers to watch out for 3 platinum busts that a man named Victario, the people's poet, had stolen from Emperor Chittis during the Purity Rebellion and smuggled into the sewers. Fun fact, one of the busts is of Marcius Lioni, the Gemling captain defeated by Kaum at Lioni's watch. Victario was a popular poet around the time of the Purity Rebellion, who wrote in support of High Templar
I'm going to
and
take
the
care of
people.
that, Pulsic.
He wrote his observations
UK,
on the power and destruction of the virtue gems that Emperor Chittis so valued. Another fun fact, one of his writings is about Kalisa, the opera singer whose virtue gem became the star of Rayclast that transformed Mervale. Victario's writings stirred unease in the people about Emperor Chittis and thaumaturgy, which helped Vol and his Purity Rebellion gain support. Victario dubbed Emperor Chittis the Monkey King, and we can find graffiti all around Sarn condemning the Monkey King, his gemlings, and his shadow. Victario was also known for being a thief. So many fun facts. Victario is the one who stole Malagaro's initial black elixir, created from Malagaro's spike and the baleful gem, that we recreate to kill the tree Larata and enter the Val ruins. Victario had operated in these sewers to help the rebellion and spread dissent. In the sewers, we pass a monstrous puckered barricade called the Undying Blockage, which blocks the path to another area of Sarn. For now, we continue to our only exit, which leads us to the Perandus Marketplace. The marketplace is a sprawling, open-aired location overrun by the Undying, or undead gemlings, and living statues. When Emperor Chittis Parandus ruled, he was obsessed with thaumaturgy. Many of the nobility of Sarn and the Empire were interested in having virtue gems embedded in their skin or implanted surgically like Brutus.
Oof.
These people were called gemlings, and both the Empire's army and its civilians took place in this type of thaumaturgy. A material called thaumatic sulfite was leftover material from refining virtue gems, and was used in multiple ways, including as a softening agent for the statues seen in Sarn. When the cataclysm struck, gemling people transformed into these undying, and these statues formed with thaumatic sulfite came to life. Clearly, the link between the cataclysm and thaumaturgy is strong. The marketplace itself is as old as the city of Sarn and the Empire. While the marketplace isn't officially named the Parandus Marketplace, it was founded by the Parandus family and made the family incredibly wealthy. The Parandus family were influential figures in the Empire even before Chittis Parandus became emperor in 1319 IC. We travel through this marketplace to an area called the Battlefront, in the northeast part of Sarn. The Battlefront connects to the Solaris Temple, the docks, and a bridge to the Ebony Barracks, which has been magically blockaded by the Blackguards. The bridge is guarded by Captain Aurelianus. We kill Aurelianus and take a treasure he was protecting, a ribbon spool of mysterious origin. While many seasoned players will skip straight to the docks at this point, it makes more sense lore-wise to continue on to the Solaris Temple. The Solaris Temple is one of two temples in Sarn, which give worship to the gods Solaris and Lunaris, the sun and the moon. Grigor tells us that the Eternals revered sun and moon as the two eyes of their god, the right eye judging Solaris, the left eye merciful Lunaris. We know that Grigor was caught and experimented on by Piety for trying to find the remains of a person called the Gemling Queen in the Solaris Temple. We search the temple and end up finding more than just remains of the Gemling Queen. She is still alive. This Gemling Queen is a woman named Diala. We can clearly see multiple virtue gems protruding from her head and shoulders. Lady Diala has an interesting way of speaking that is poetic and rambling, but her history is absolutely fascinating. Whether her odd behavior is the result of the cataclysm giving her madness, how she's always been, or simply eccentricities from surviving alone for 300 years is hard to say. Lady Diala was one of Emperor Chittis Parandus's mistresses. Apparently, if Chittis got annoyed or tired of a mistress, he would hand that mistress over to his thaumaturgists. Diala was given to Malachi when she lost favor. Malachi, the teacher of both Chevron and Malagaro, embedded the virtue gems into Diala and she became the Gemling Queen. Diala loved Malachi and was willing to do as he asked. Diala tells us that Malachi was massively influential in Chittis Parandus's interest in virtue gems. In Victorio's poems about the monkey king Chittis, the shadow of the king is referring to Malachi. Maybe not so fun fact, during the Purity Rebellion, Diala killed the poet Victorio's lover, Merlin, as punishment for his writings against the Empire. Malachi told Chittis that these virtue gems could make citizens of the Eternal Empire more eternal. It was with Chittis's approval that Malachi was able to enlist students of thaumaturgy and have many thaumaturgical experiments take place across Rayclast. It is shocking that Diala survived not only the Purity Rebellion, but the Cataclysm without turning into an Undying. We find out that Malachi also survived the Purity Rebellion, even though he had been working so closely with the defeated Emperor Chittis. Apparently, Malachi convinced High Templar Vol, leader of the Purity Rebellion, that he could create a device to put an end to all thaumaturgy. Malachi, through his and his students' studies, had discovered the source of thaumaturgy, an entity which Malachi called the Beast. For over a year, Malachi and Diala stayed in this Solaris temple, working on Malachi's invention called the Rapture device. She tells us that Malachi convinced Vol that the device needed to be taken up north to cleanse Rayclast of thaumaturgy forever. Malachi, Diala, and Vol all traveled to this location with Malachi's Rapture device, where Malachi asked Diala to sacrifice herself to complete the Rapture. Diala refused, and somehow Malachi's use of the Rapture device has caused the cataclysm that has devastated Rayclast. We will learn more details of Malachi and his Rapture device in Act 4, But for now, we know Diala the Gemling Queen has survived by hiding out in the Solaris Temple. The ribbon spool we found in the battlefront is her device, used to make the living ribbons we have seen floating around and attacking us. Diala refers to us as not a cockroach because she considers these blackguards to be cockroaches who feed on the corpse of a dead empire. Because we return this dangerous spool to Diala, she tells us that we can destroy the undying blockage in the sewers with thaumatic sulfite if we can bring it to her, the same leftover material from refining virtue gems that animates the sculptures of Sarn. Malachi had shipments of thaumatic sulfite come in via the docks. On the docks,
You know what's upsetting the most? Well, it's not upsetting because it's exciting, but I finally got a handle on like the routing in the campaign for POE. Like not 100%, obviously. Like I still go left when I should be going right, but for the most part, I was getting better and better. And now, now I gotta, like, you know, we're probably not gonna play Path of Exile till who knows, February, March, when they announce, you know, the next new league in it, right? And it all depends on how early access is going too. But it's like finally I have good knowledge on the campaign, and God knows when I'm going to be running it again. Anyway.
We can find the thematic sulfite in question, but we also run into a familiar face, Captain Fairgraves. It turns out the Allflame didn't fully work when he tried to kill you in Act 1, and he now exists somewhere between human and ghost, still chained to his ship. He would like you to help him die, because once dead, the Allflame will resurrect him again, hopefully correctly. Fairgraves wants you to collect the Decanter Spiritus and the Chittus Plum for his quest. The Decanter Spiritus is an invention by none other than Malachi. It is a vessel that can turn any liquid quasi-apparitional in nature, as Fairgraves describes. Apparently, Malachi was interested in something called ghost wine, or at least turning regular liquids into something corporeal. The Chittus Plum grows from a tree planted over Emperor Chittus's body. We learn through this quest that on the day Vol and his supporters marched on Sarn, Emperor Chittus was stabbed by Lord Ondar, mayor of Sarn. Emperor Chittus was a gemling himself, with a gem implanted above his heart. Book 5 of the Purity Chronicles says that Chittus, empowered with rage and strength from his virtue gem, sliced Ondar in half before he died. The Chittus plums are said to cause great agony and possibly death on consumption. When Fairgraves mixes the Chittus plum's juice into the Decanter Spiritus, he is able to drink it. But for some reason the Allflame has gone out, and we can assume that Fairgraves will not be resurrected after this final, agonizing death. We bring Diala the thaumatic sulfite from the docks, and she creates infernal talc, which is a substance that can destroy the undying blockage. Diala knows that the sewer route will lead us to the Ebony Barracks, which the Blackguards have been barricading. Art fact: Diala knows about the sewer systems because she was given to Malachi when she asked Emperor Chittus where the town's poop went. Seriously. We head back to the Grand Arena. Grigor urges us to find and kill Piety as revenge for Piety deforming and torturing him. We know from Diala and Maramoa that the Blackguards and Piety have been seen with General Gravisius. Gravisius is the current High Templar Dominus's right-hand man. Everyone would like to see General Gravisius dead as well. Gravisius and Piety are working for Dominus on Rayclast, for reasons still unknown, but we now learn that Dominus himself is also on Rayclast, instead of in Oriath. Dominus has set up a thaumaturgical laboratory of his own at the top of the Scepter of God, formerly known as the Chittus Cathedral. Grigor tells us that Dominus gets up and down this tower via elevator, afraid of the monsters inside it, but that the tower itself has been locked. Of course, there is the Eternal Labyrinth here and the lore of Ascension, how Chittus Parandus came to power. Unfortunately, Act 3 is already jam-packed. There's no way we can squash all of that information into any of the Act videos, so I will be doing a separate video about the lab. We use the Infernal Talc to destroy the undying blockage in the sewers and emerge in the Ebony Barracks on the northwest side of Sarn. Farther west is the Lunaris Temple, where we believe Piety is hiding. We see more blackguards here and run into General Gravicius. Gravicius says some not-so-nice things to us, so it's a pleasure to kill him on everyone's behalf. Unlike the Solaris Temple, which seemed relatively untouched, the Lunaris Temple has been desecrated by the likes of Piety and other thaumaturgists. The first level has blackguards in it, but also necromancers and the evidence of thaumaturgical experiments. One such experiment is Cole, who is reminiscent of Brutus from Act 1. Cole was Grigor's bunkmate when captured by Gravicius, a rapist from Oriath exiled as punishment. Cole was also one of Piety's experiments, like Grigor, and his similar build to Brutus suggests Piety may have learned something from her studies of Chevron's texts back in the prison in Act 1. As we descend to the second level, the evidence of Piety's thaumaturgy becomes grotesque. The temple is a horror scene. Everything is covered in blood, literal pools of blood taking up the majority of the floor. Poor, failed experiments are impaled on spears amidst the blood pools. Corpses begin piling up on the floor as we make our way through this maze, following the ever-growing carnage leading to Piety. Finally, we see her, follow her to the final room, and begin to fight. But who is Piety, really? We have chased her around Rayclass, trying to stop the havoc she's been causing. Piety was once named Vinia, and was a prostitute and thaumaturgist in Oriath. We know she used to purchase ingredients for her thaumaturgy from Clarissa. Since the short reign of High Templar Vol, after the success of the Purity Rebellion, thaumaturgy has been outlawed in Oriath. The Purity Rebellion was an attempt to fight the monstrosities the Empire's interest in thaumaturgy had created and to purify Rayclast and Oriath. The ruling High Templars since the rebellion have also stood against thaumaturgy, and Vinia was condemned to death for her crimes. Vinia was brought—
Wait a minute, who? Piety was a prostitute? What did I miss there? What? Who? What?
before High Templar Dominus, and they shared a dinner so Dominus could hear her confession. After this dinner and discussion, Vinia was not killed. Dominus renamed her Piety and became heavily interested in thaumaturgy himself. We ourselves have seen the power of thaumaturgy in the enemies we fight and the virtue gems we use to kill them. The power of thaumaturgy and its potential uses is highly persuasive. Piety has been ordered to gather all the information about thaumaturgy she can from Rayclast and bring that information to Dominus. It was only after Vinia became Piety and inspired Dominus's interest in thaumaturgy that Oriath criminals began being exiled to Rayclast rather than killed. We can speculate this was so Piety had people to experiment on away from Oriath, to keep her experiments secret. Judging from the carnage in the Lunaris Temple, Piety has been doing a lot of experimenting. Piety has been learning all she can, in particular about Malachi and his works.
Thank you,
hence her
Killu.
studies of
Thank
Chevron,
you, Crush.
her interest in Malagaro's equipment,
Welcome,
and her
everybody.
attempts to find the Gemling Queen in the Solaris Temple. We can now make our way towards the Scepter of God, where Dominus himself likely resides. We now know that Dominus is behind all of Piety's undertakings. The Imperial Gardens lead to the Scepter of God,
Thank you for the
but
follows,
also
everyone.
the Sarn
Thank you.
Library.
Welcome.
The Sarn Library itself is pretty self-explanatory. Inside, however, is a ghost named Siosa, who is attached to a painting of himself. Siosa was a Karui slave who became a scholar and survived the cataclysm by having his spirit bound to this painting. He asks us to find 4 pages written by Isius Perandus, who was translating Val texts in the library when Siosa was alive. These pages are in the archives, which Siosa cannot reach because he is stuck to a painting. We find the hidden entrance to the archives, begin gathering these golden pages, and find something interesting. The first 3 pages are written by Isius, translating Val texts regarding their interests in thaumaturgy and their communion with something called Nightmare. The 4th page is a direct note to Siosa, complimenting Siosa's humanity and saying that his slavery will cause—
I've never, ever have found all 4 pages. Never.
them to overlook you, a rather cryptic message. At the end of the 4th page, Siosa tells us that there is a note from Malachi to Isius, which reads, "My dearest Isius, I have been enlightened beyond expectation. Your work in translating these artifacts
Hey,
is
Fozer.
worthy of the
Welcome.
highest recompense, and
Hello.
thus I am delighted to offer you a position in my personal laboratory.
Like, I've wasted time looking for the fourth one. I never finding 3, you could do it blindly. It's so obvious. But the fourth one, it's eluded me. Eluded me.
Please do not give your escorts any consternation. I would be most pained
It's impossible.
to see such a precious asset damaged in any way.
Hey, Canimus.
Malachi kidnapped Isius to use him and his knowledge for his work. From what we've seen happen in the laboratories of other thaumaturgists, we can imagine that Isius did not meet a pleasant end.
Wait a minute. Is it really a hidden treasure? Are you guys trolling me? Like, I legitimately want to know. Like, there is a 4th page, right?
Thanks for the follow.
Beezer! Hello.
While Siosa was overlooked for his work in the library because of his background as a Karui slave. Fun fact, the scholar Trinian, the Intellectus Prime who wrote of the Val and founding of the Empire,
metaphorically?
is
Okay.
an undying stuck in these archives. We leave Siosa and the library to head to our final destination in Act 3, the Scepter of God. But what is the Scepter of God? It used to be the Chittis Cathedral before the Purity Rebellion. It is actually the site on which Emperor Chittis Parandus was betrayed and murdered by Lord Mayor Ondar. The fact that High Templar Dominus has taken over a cathedral once dedicated to the Emperor most embedded in thaumaturgy is no coincidence. Neither Piety nor Dominus actually enter the Scepter of God themselves, but we must enter and fight our way up the tower.
Of course.
The Scepter of God is overrun by gemling creations and creatures.
We're doing all the
Finally,
dirty
we get
work.
to the top floor and take some stairs to the roof where Dominus waits. Dominus is the current High Templar ruling Oriath, but he is also the person responsible for our exile from Oriath. And now we know why. Beyond our crimes, Dominus has been using exiles as fodder for his and Piety's thaumaturgical experiments.
Bastard.
The roof has been transformed into a thaumaturgical laboratory like those we have seen before. Dominus and Piety are convinced that the use of thaumaturgy can bring them closer to God and the betterment of mankind overall.
You almost died there.
By experimenting on the bad exiles, they could give knowledge back to Oriath. This is why Vinya was spared and became Piety, for giving Dominus the vision of leadership through thaumaturgy. Dominus still sees himself as a man of religion, utilizing the tools of thaumaturgy rather than scorning them. Dominus begins the fight relatively normally, using powerful magics to attack us. He screams at us about the power of God, such as, "Shrink not from God," or "the touch of God." When it seems we've killed him, he shouts, "This
Thank you for the
world is
follows,
an
guys.
illusion,"
Thank you.
and resurrects in a monstrous form, a giant bug writhing from the ground with the same mask Dominus had been wearing. Here we witness the true face of thaumaturgy, God. On killing High Templar Dominus, Diala appears to congratulate us for embracing death and generously sharing it with those that stood in our way. She opens the door to the aqueduct, a channel built to move water,
Thank you, Cape Shiv.
and we follow this aqueduct's path to begin Act 4. Hello again, Exile. Welcome to
Act 4, boys and girls. Act 4, during the campaign, in game, Act 4, we're starting to feel a little bit better. We're getting stronger. We went to the library.
Thanks for the follow.
So, you can get all the gems that you want, and you're probably kind of like mid-game. You're leveling up your character. You're getting all the gems and skills that you need. So you're starting to feel a little bit better. Flying through the campaign. Yeah, Chris. Thanks for the follows, everyone. Thank you. We're going to be doing the first key giveaway very soon. So thank you, guys. Thank you for all the follows, man. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
another video in Noodle's complete lore series. This video covers Act 4. So let's begin.
Thanks for the follow.
My least favorite act.
After defeating High Templar
One of them.
Dominus on the roof of the Scepter of God, we leave Sarn via the
Lenadov.
aqueducts to the north. We end up in Highgate, which was a mining town during the Empire's existence. It sits at the base of the Esmiri mountain ranges, in particular Mount Veruso. From the beginning of the Eternal Empire, the first Emperor Veruso has used mines in these mountains to seal away the virtue gems of the Val that had been left around Wraeclast after the fall of the Val in 400 BIC. During Emperor Chittus Priandus' reign, starting in 1319 IC, the Eternal Empire used its Karui, Ezamite, and Mariketh slaves to mine the mountains near Highgate for these virtue gems. Highgate is inhabited by the Mariketh. The Mariketh are a matriarchal society native to the Vastiri Plains to the east. During the Purity Rebellion, High Templar Vol entreated the Mariketh to join the rebellion.
That's the way I was going to do it. I was going to do it, offline, grind Path of Exile and listen to it. But anyway, it worked out like this. It's a perfect segue into Friday and going into POE2. I know nothing about the lore, so someone's going to be really happy tonight with a free key. Yeah. Thanks to you guys, like the community, donating these keys. Super. It just speaks to you guys are super awesome, and Mage and Koba, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. I have to figure out a way to return the favor. All right.
To fight the slavery of the Eternal Empire, and to take down a man named General Titusius, who worked for Emperor Chittus specifically to hold the Vastiri Plains from the conquered Mariketh. Titusius was known as the Scourge of the Mariketh. The Mariketh's leader at that time was Sekema Deshret, and we will discuss Titusius and Deshret in detail later. But after the success of Vol's Purity Rebellion, Deshret and her Akara, which means tribe, stayed in Highgate specifically to guard these mined mountains. Deshret sealed off the mines so that nothing could enter or escape them.
Ooh. I heard we'll be able to pause the game in Path of Exile 2. Yeah, we learned during an interview, Lenendove, that hitting escape pauses the game. And also when you hit escape, a menu pops up. Apparently that will be able for you to get out of whatever you are, go back to town, I'm assuming, and reset the zone. And it was around hardcore discussion, which a lot of the hardcore players are finding a little bit like that's not right. It's too easy. Like it pauses the game so you can't get killed. But yes, we can pause the game, which is awesome. What do you have to say about our concerns of POE2 being too grindy? That's an individual thing. If you find it too grindy, I guess you'll go play another game. But anyone that's played Path of Exile, that's like music to their ears. What's going to prevent you from getting burnt out after 75 hours? 75 hours on your first playthrough, you would have probably finished the campaign and you would have been on endgame. And if the endgame doesn't loop you in, then that's probably not the game for you.
The NPCs of Highgate are Oyun, Kira, and Tasuni, all Mariketh, and a couple named Pitaris and Vanya. Diala, the Gemling Queen, has joined us from Sarn. Oyun is the current Sekema, or leader, of the Mariketh. Kira is a descendant of Deshret, and a Dakara, meaning warrior, of the tribe. Tasuni is her brother, a blind man who suffers from strange visions. Tasuni was born blind, and it is Mariketh tradition to discard any weak or disfigured children, much like Spartans. He was left out in the Vastiri Plains after his birth to die, but somehow survived, which had never previously happened. Thus, he is allowed to live with the tribe. Tasuni seems to have communion with the beast, or nightmare, that Malachi sought, and that the Val had written about. Pitaris was a captain of the Blackguards under Dominus and Piety. Vanya was a witch exiled from Oriath, imprisoned and soon to be experimented on by Piety. Pitaris let Vanya free, and they escaped together to Highgate. Diala tells us that Malachi's rapture device, the device High Templar Vol allowed Malachi to create to destroy thaumaturgy, is within the sealed mines under Mount Veruso. Vol, Malachi, and Diala all traveled to Highgate with the rapture device and took it down into the mines to use on this entity called the Beast, which Malachi claimed was the source of all thaumaturgy. Malachi entered the lair of the beast by himself, and his communion with the beast and its powers of nightmare was the cause of the cataclysm in 1336 IC. As we've seen, the cataclysm killed many, caused others to go mad, and reanimated the dead. Vol was no exception, and he turned into a bloodthirsty, monstrous version of himself. Oyen tells us that he still wanders around the dried lake off of Highgate. The dried lake was once a large natural lake, but it has been siphoned out to the city of Sarn via the aqueducts we traveled along. The undead Vol has been terrorizing the Mariketh in Highgate since the cataclysm from his new home in this dried lake. Vol stands by his confession. I vowed to care for this empire with my eyes open. I lied to my people. I lied to myself. Blinded by my lust for purity, I placed my faith in the most corrupt of men. I have failed you, my empire of purity. Do not forgive me, but please, I beg of you, survive me.
Thank you for the
Vol
follow,
was the
Dear the
leader of
Gambler.
the Purity
Thank you.
Rebellion before the Cataclysm, but before he became the Emperor after this Purity Rebellion, he was the High Templar. The High Templars are a religious order of Oriath. The Empire, when founded by Tarkus Varuso, believed in banning and burying all thaumaturgy, past or present, but Emperor Chittus Parandus was heavily invested in thaumaturgy. The High Templars believe in purity, and Vol in particular believed that purity was...
Hey, what's up, Ergo? Remember the beef jerky? I'm doing my shopping tomorrow, so I haven't written my list, but believe me, it's on the list. How you doing, man?
was the
Shit,
opposite of the
funny.
thaumaturgy rampant under the reign of
Yeah,
Emperor Chittus.
I appreciate it, man.
In his time, High Templar Vol was seen as a champion of freedom and justice. He was a
Thanks
hero
for the follows,
to the common
everyone.
folk and those oppressed by the Empire. His reasons for the Purity Rebellion were noble: to save humanity from unchecked power, political or thaumaturgical.
Yeah, Canimus, like we were talking about this the other night on my stream. So we were talking about, you know, stocking up on food and stuff for POE2, right? And I've never had beef. I've never had beef jerky. Never. I've never tried it. So everyone was telling me, you got to put it on your list. You got to try it. You're gonna love it. So I'm probably gonna get a non-spicy one and a spicy one. And then I'll try it on stream while we're grinding Path of Exile 2 starting Friday, which I will be all weekend long. I'm only stopping the stream for my naps or, you know, just to get some rest in. But so I'm on it. I gotta be honest with you guys. I'm a little bit excited about trying this beef jerky.
The Mariketh had been terrorized by a Gemling general named Hector
It's
Titusius.
S tier for league start.
Titusius's duty was to control the Vastiri Plains, the native land of the Mariketh, and keep it secured for the Empire. Titusius was a virtue gem enthusiast, allowing Malachi to replace every joint in his body with implanted virtue gems. He was particularly violent towards the Mariketh, and so Vol promised to help.
Spaz Gaming,
Thanks for the follow.
definitely the beef jerky, because I told chat I would do it and try it. That's a no on the Gatorade. I'm not gonna have any Gatorade. There's just too much of stuff that's not good for me in there. So yes on the beef jerky, no on the Gatorade. Water and caffeine and some cold pops.
Help the Mariketh, led by Sekima Deshret.
You've never
take
tried it
down
either?
Titusius.
Thanks for the follow.
Vol and his operatives discovered Imperial spies within the Mariketh and gave them false information about a Mariketh uprising, knowing the info would get back to Titusius. Titusius led his legion to the false location where Deshret and her Akara were waiting. The Mariketh were able to track the dust storms of the Vastiri Plain, and they planned a day in which this location would be hit by a fierce storm. Deshret and her Akara used the cover of the dust storm to their advantage as they killed Titusius's entire Gemling legion. It is
I don't know if the Canadian beef jerky is made out of moose. I doubt it. I doubt it, because that's a big stereotype. But But I don't know. I guess we'll find out tomorrow when I go get it.
It is said that Deshret skinned Titusius and used his skin as her Roa saddle. Thus, High Templar Vol helped the Mariketh defeat their main foe and reclaim their homelands. And in return, Deshret and the Mariketh helped Vol succeed in his purity rebellion against Chittus and the Empire.
Oh yeah, ergo, I'm not gonna, like, I know my body. I'm not gonna overextend myself. This isn't a race, it's a marathon. So
Thanks for the follow.
Obviously every evening, as soon as I start getting that feeling, you know, because I will be streaming all day and all night long. I mean, into the late into the evening. So there's no way I'll be able to do it nonstop. So yeah, like I'm not an idiot. I know my body. And if that means me having to get 5, 6, 7 hours that night, then so be it. We'll be back in the morning, or
Thanks for the follow.
you know, as soon as I get up. Basically, all I'm going to be doing is playing the game, you know, showering, changing, coming back, and we go. So yeah, believe me, I'm not going to push it where I'm going to be like, no. But thank you. I appreciate it.
After the cataclysm, many people in Rayclast were killed, turned, or brought back to life. Deshret had seen many of these monstrosities, and she was aware that the source of the devastation came from within the mines under Highgate. She sealed the mines and commanded her Akara to remain to guard them. Bull himself ended up as an undead monster. After escorting Malachi and the Rapture device to the mines of Mount Veruso, the undead Vol wandered to the dried lake, violent and crazed, and killed Deshret himself. Deshret carried a banner with her, which was the key to opening the sealed-off mines. Because of Vol's terrible power, the rest of her Akara have stayed away from the dried lake. It's sad to think that the leader of the Purity Rebellion was turned into a thaumaturgical nightmare himself, and killed an ally he'd worked with so closely. To open the mines, we must go to the dried lake and kill the undead High Templar Vol. He drops Deshret's banner, which will allow us to open the mines. In Act 1, we learn that after the Cataclysm, Kaum began having visions he believed were from Tukohama to lead his people to an offering that will save the Karui. He led 500 of his greatest warriors north into Rayclast, and the final destination of this group was in the mines below Mount Veruso.
What are we going to do if the servers crash, Alessio? And where do we launch the game from? You're going to be able to launch the game from... so you're going to be able to download... If you're on PC, the download will be available tomorrow night. I forget the time. You're going to launch Path of Exile 2 from where you launch Path of Exile 1. If the servers crash, then we'll deal with it. Look, ARPGs don't have a good track record. Grinding Gear Games has a decent track record. But we learned through Jonathan that they're prepared for like 1 million people. Now, I don't know if he said that tongue-in-cheek. It didn't look like it. I personally think, I don't know, man, 1 million people in early access. I believe that number and higher when the full game releases, but early access, I don't know, we'll see. But if the servers crashes, the servers crash, and hopefully it's not, you know, hopefully it's not like the other ARPGs in the last couple of years that had major problems. But we'll see.
Deshret witnessed Kaum and his Karui disappear into the mines some years before she sealed.
Yeah, like, let's face it, guys. Of course, the studio, the developer is going to say they're ready, they're prepared, they're doing everything they can. But as we all know, and I'm not a technology guy, you can do as much testing as you want.
Thanks for the follow.
When the rubber hits the road, that's when they're gonna know. And
thanks for the follow.
Unfortunately, it's not like, oh, hold on, everybody, let me just go fix shit, right? Like, you're in it now. You're in it. So thank you for the follow, everyone. Thank you for the follows, guys. So we'll see. We'll know Friday afternoon, my time, Eastern Standard Time. 11 a.m. PST, 2 p.m. EST. And you can do the math depending on what time zone you're in. But we're going to find out. It's, what is it? What's today? Wednesday? We got 2 more sleeps, man.
Killed them. Tasuni is able to hear the beast, and we know from Diala that Malachi's destination with the Rapture device was inside the mines. But Tasuni claims that he also hears the spirit of Deshret herself deep within the mines. We open the seal with Deshret's banner and begin our descent into Mount Veruso. The mines are littered with terrifying creatures, monsters of melded flesh, likely mutated from the thaumaturgical way.
I hope you're right, Ergo. I hope you're right. You know, I don't know how they do it. Like, I know I've sat in many of Path of Exile queues for major launches, and you're absolutely right. You know, irrespective of your number, and I've been as high as, you know, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, whatever it was. And literally, you know, 5 minutes I'm in. I'm assuming they're going to let them in waves. I don't know how they do it. I'm just guessing. But let's hope that's the case. Like, I'll take a 30, 35-minute wait, 45-minute, like, you know.
Thanks for the follow.
It's when it gets to, you know, lag and DCing all the time, and it's unplayable, and, you know, it takes 7 hours to get, you know, that's when you're going to be like, ooh, shit. The worst they've gotten was like 45 minutes letdown. Yeah, let's hope they continue the trend. Early access is one thing, and I'm worried about it too. Obviously, everybody is. But when this game fully releases, that's gonna be. But they're gonna take this Friday as a learning experience, because the early access is a stepping stone to full release, because then that's going to be another monster. But let's get over early access first.
Waste and tears of Magi, aka virtue gems, buried within. There are 3 levels of the mine.
Hey, Dole the Gambler. Normally, every league in POE is like 300,000 players, but POE2 hype is too much. Yeah, they're gonna crunch that. They're gonna crunch that. I like. Not just Steam, but across all the consoles, platforms. I think they're going to be 6, 7, 8. Like, some people are saying, you know, 1 million. We'll see. It'll definitely be more than 1 million. I know, I'm kind of thinking the same thing. I'm kind of thinking the same thing. It's gotten so much hype. And one of the beautiful things that's happened with this game is it's kind of banded all the ARPG players from other games. They're all coming too. That speaks volumes to what grinding gear games have been able to accomplish. The fact that you can get people that literally camp on one side of the fence and are always throwing rocks across. Now that they're here, and yeah, so it's exciting times. It's exciting times.
Upon entering the mines, the entire system shakes, seemingly in anticipation of our arrival. On the 2nd level, we are able to find the spirit of Deshret, even though Deshret did not physically die in the mines. Somehow, her spirit had been trapped down in the mines since her death. We free her from the grasp of a ghostly hand and continue into the mines. The 3rd level is called the Crystal Mines, and we can see this is where many of the virtue gems were likely stored, or perhaps just what's left after Emperor Chittis sent his Karui, Mariketh, and Ezamite slaves to mine for gems in here. At the end of these crystal mines, we find Diala waiting for us, standing next to the Rapture device and 2 portals. The 2 portals next to Diala are called Kaum's Dream and Duresso's Dream.
Dole the Gamer, you are pretty sure the servers will fail at the first couple of hours at least? Yeah, Ergo. The POE Discord is really, really good. Ergo's right on. You guys should join the Path of Exile Discord. It's really good communicate. Like you can ask, like Ergo said, you can ask questions, and there's some really good information there. There's a channel dedicated to Path of Exile too. It's just crazy.
And Diala tells us that Malachi lured both the spirits of Kaum and Deresso here for his own purposes. Yeah. The voice that called to Kaum under the guise of Tukahama was actually Malachi using the beast's power of nightmare.
Hey, Mr. Cove.
Kaum and Deresso's spirits are now both trapped here, each eternally reliving the peak of emotions. For Kaum, it is fury, and for Deresso, it is desire. Kaum's dream takes us to our first map-like instance. It is a recreation of the path which Kaum took his 500 best warriors on in search of Tukahama's offering for the Karui. Tukahama is the warrior god of the Karui. Legend has it that the Karui were peaceful farmers before Tukahama put stone axes in their hands and the hunger for conquest in their bellies. Kaum calls himself a son of Tukahama and has extreme reverence for the traditions and gods of his Karui ancestry. As we travel farther on the path Kaum took, we read on carvings that Kaum believed his warriors were crushing the servants of Kitava, the Karui god of hunger.
Oh, like some code thing they have to patch right away, something like Ellie dealt with, or, you know, can't make a character name in console. That's my only issue. Like, again, sorry if I misspeak here, but the one thing that I learned, because I looked into the last Epoch debacle, the fact that these studios rely on third-party companies to host, do certain things for them, this is where I get concerned, where it's not just your house you have to worry about. You have to worry about the third-party people that you're dealing with, and can they handle it, and what's the response time. Like, that's the thing. Last Epoch had an issue with getting the third-party people, like the response time from them. So that's where I'm concerned. That lasted days. Oh yeah Last Epoch took, you know, you could play offline, but, you know, I would even argue it lasted a week. Like, intermittent issues, right? People were still getting errors. People were like, it was a lot. It was a lot.
And took pride that he let not one of his 500 fall as they traveled. But when Kaum reached what he believed was Tukahama, it asked him to kill his 500 warriors as a sacrifice, and Kaum did so willingly. We crushed the servants of Kitaba beneath our heels as we marched across the land. I allowed not one of my 500 to fall. We descended into the heart of Rayclast, and there he came to me. Tukahama. He asked of me a sacrifice. I gave it willingly. My axe fell 500 times, the jade drinking its fill of Karui blood. Tukahama.
Thank you for the follow, Rocket Boy. Yeah. The deciding to do this on a Friday, which opens up way more players being available, is, you know, I can see both sides. Obviously, they wanted it to be more appealable, obviously. You know, it's a Friday, so if they picked a Wednesday, some players would have said, you know what, nah. There's no way I'm taking 3 days off or what, you know what I mean? Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. GGG know they are in the spotlight. They know their window of F up is small. They will be prepared. I kind of agree with you, Ergo, so I'm wishing and hoping for the best, right? Look, if there's a studio that can do it, they're the ones. Illusional, what's up? I'm doing good, man. How you doing? Welcome, and thank you for the follow. We're just watching some lore. I don't know anything about the lore, so. Problems happen. Wouldn't mean GG sucks. Literally happen to everyone. Yep. Yeah, problems are going to happen. it's the little ones that you expect, and I don't have a problem with. The problem where it becomes like, are you kidding me, is if we're talking hours. If we're talking, you know, like major problems, then that's like, you know, you kind of knew this was blowing up. Like, everybody under the sun is talking about this game. There is no mixed reviews here. This is completely one-sided. It's heavily favored. Everyone has a good opinion about it. There's a ton of optimism. Like, I've never seen this to this degree. So you gotta know. And first of all, they know how many supporter packs and keys have been purchased. So I think that's going to give them a good idea, I would hope. I know that's a very simplistic way of looking at it, because it's a little bit more complex than that. But, you know, I know that's what I would be doing if I was Jonathan. I would be saying, okay, guys, give me a tally on all the supporter packs. And I would even take it further. Like, the supporter pack I purchased had 5 keys, not 1, 5. Right? So you got to take that into consideration. You're right, that helps. But as PlayStation guys haven't bought keys yet, yeah. Yeah, I don't think they can until Friday. If memory serves me correct, I don't think they can until Friday. Right? Okay, Mr. Cove. Awesome. Okay.
Thanks
Hey,
for the follow.
my memory works every once in a while.
Palma was pleased. This pinnacle of Kaum's fury is what Kaum's dream
Something will happen. It's the standalone launcher will allow people first, then Steam or Epic. I don't know about consoles. I hope you're right, because I'm on standalone. Standalone, Steam, Epic. Yeah, then Xbox, PS. We'll see. Yeah, because PlayStation, PC is the standalone, Steam, the Epic Store, and that's it, right? Yeah. You all don't want to move to Steam to jack up numbers. No, I've always played Path of Exile on the standalone. That's where I want to play it. I don't want to go on Steam. I don't know. I just think the standalone is better. I don't know. Yeah.
represents. When we reach Kaum and kill him, we receive the Eye of Fury and bring it back to Diala. The second portal takes us to Duresso's Dream, which is a reincarnation of the Grand Arena of Sarn, where Duresso fought when he was alive. Unlike Kaum, it is unclear whether Duresso physically entered the mines, but as we've seen with Deshret, one does not have to physically die in the mines to have their spirit trapped here by Nightmare.
Thanks for the follow,
Duresso's
everybody.
Dream
Thank you.
shows us his desires from a young age to become the greatest gladiator in the Empire, but it also chronicles the story of how he met Merveil. We killed Merveil in Act 1, a woman transformed into a monstrous and crazed siren by a necklace called the Star of Rayclast. This necklace was a gift from Duresso, and he left Merveil in the middle of the night to find a cure for her transformation.
He never came back,
though.
though.
Duresso never successfully found a cure, but now it seems Duresso's spirit was captured by Nightmare and forced to relive this desire for glory and his wife forever.
Oh.
When we slay Duresso, we receive the Eye of Desire and bring it back to Diala. After we brought Diala both the Eye of Fury and of Desire, she tells us we shall be able to activate Malachi's Rapture device. When Malachi first used the Rapture device to find the beast, he asked Diala to sacrifice herself to power the device. Whether or not this was actually necessary is not yet clear. Either way, Diala now willingly gives herself to the Rapture device to blow open an entrance into the core of the beast. When the device activates, the gems embedded in Diala across her head and body are ripped from her to power the machine. Before us stands a shriveled husk of a woman, looking how we might expect a 300.
That's right, Ergo. This is really depressing, man. You're absolutely right. The lore in POE1 is painfully full of despair and zero happiness. I'm sorry you guys have to listen to this.
100-year-old woman to appear. Diala ushers us onward into what is called the Belly of the Beast. This Belly of the Beast is a path of literal entrails. Where the beast begins and ends, it is hard to say, but it seems we have literally entered the insides of this beast, the nightmare that Malachi resides in and Piety sought. As we travel through the intestines, we end up finding an old friend reborn under the influence of nightmare. Piety, who we killed in Act 3, has been found and resurrected
Thanks for the
as a
follows,
nightmare
everybody.
version of herself and stands before us in the belly of the beast. After seeking the works of Malachi and his students for so long, now Malachi and the beast have sought out the spirit of Piety. Piety has become similar to one of the experiments she performed on so many exiles of Oriath. She has been horribly mutated, but when we fight and kill her, she returns to her previous and familiar form. Piety tells us that Malachi's students, Chevron, Malagaro, and a witch named Doedre, were the ones to transform her. Piety, after being the victim of the type of experiments she herself performed, is now wanting to take down Malachi. While she reveres the power of the beast, she sees now that Malachi's vision is warped. She tells us that she does not regret what she sought to do, only how she did it. And she says, prior to meeting Malagaro, Chevron, and Doedre, I rather admired them. Their work, their accomplishments, sheer genius. As it turns out, genius is something better appreciated from afar. Deshret's spirit was also a puppet of Malachi's students, tortured continuously by them, but never succumbing to their torture, hence remaining as a spirit rather than a monstrous recreation. We follow Piety into the harvest, getting close to the core of the beast. There are writings left by Malachi, and through them we find out Malachi had never wanted or needed Diala to sacrifice herself for the rapture device to work. Malachi planned to enter the beast and control it on his own, and he wanted Diala to leave and escape the cataclysm he knew would happen. So he lied to Vol and Diala about his true intentions with the rapture device. All of Malachi's work was leading to his entering and controlling the beast, the nightmare, the source of thaumaturgy in the world. Piety waits for us by the entrance to the Black Core, where Malachi resides. Apparently, Malachi has resurrected his 3 students to guard 3 of his organs. These organs are what keep Malachi tied to mortality, rather than being completely absorbed by the beast. Even though Vol killed and burned Malagaro and Doedre after the Purity Rebellion, and Chevron was killed by Brutus, Malachi was able to resurrect them for his purposes. We have already seen the works of Malagaro and Chevron, but there is the 3rd student we haven't yet encountered named Doedre.
Thank you, White Trollme. Thank you.
Dark-Tongue was a spellcaster and student of the Inquisitor Malagaro. Malagaro himself removed Doedre's tongue, giving her the nickname Dark-Tongue. Doedre may be the most sick and depraved of Malachi's students. She was interested in taking people apart to find the wonders of the universe, and used her own body for thaumaturgical experiments. Doedre was a fan of curses and transmogrification, as we can see from our battle with her for Malachi's lungs, in which she appears as a horrifying, bloated apparition. We kill Chevron and Malagaro for the remaining organs, bring them to Piety to open up the Black Core and face Malachi. Malachi is the inspiration for Piety's pursuits, and the dire state of Rayclast is due to the cataclysm Malachi caused. During Emperor Chittus Parandus' reign, Malachi was an ambitious thaumaturgist. He studied the works of the ancient Val alongside Isius Parandus, whose writings we recovered for Siosa in the Sarn Library. In these writings, Isius translated texts from Doriani of the Val, who spoke of the beast Malachi now resides within. Malachi was smart and manipulative, and his rediscovery of ancient knowledge and technology previously buried and forgotten swayed Chittus Parandus to the powers of thaumaturgy. It was Malachi who began the trend of implanting virtue gems into people, which spawned the Gemling Legion.
Holy Friggin' movement
Malachi
speed.
convinced Emperor Chittis that not only would virtue gems make his army and citizens the most powerful and most eternal, but
Ben!
that his creations
What's up,
would be
Ben?
ultra loyal to
How you doing,
Chittis,
bro?
that the heart of each soldier beats in time with the heart of his emperor.
Hello.
If the emperor wishes that beat to stop, it stops.
Hi, son.
And this was true.
Hello.
For Malachi had implanted above Chittis's heart a virtue gem that would connect him to all of his gemling legion. This is why the majority of gemlings turned into the Undying when Emperor Chittis...
Yeah, Ben, we got some snow this morning, like a dust covering, and we're not getting too much right now, but a nice little dust covering. Yeah. Oh, there's a big winter storm? Ooh, I haven't really been paying attention. Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be right here. So...
Chittis was slain in 1334 during the Purity Rebellion.
Oh, you're in Michigan and it's going
hard?
hard?
According to Malachi's own journals, the first time Malachi came in physical contact with
Really,
the virtue
Chris?
gem, he began to have dreams where he spoke with the beast. He called these dreams lessons cloaked in nightmare, and says these dreams are the source of all his ideas for thaumaturgical experiments. The beast has been given many names throughout history, including Beast, Nightmare, and Darkness. According to Tasuni, Malachi is the one who knew the beast's true name and understood its impenetrable nature. Malachi's ultimate pursuit was to control the beast because it is the source of all
Yes,
thaumaturgy.
Ben, it does.
In Act 3, Grigor tells us, "When piety was experimenting on me, I met a presence. Intelligence, power, immensity beyond the limits of my pitiable mortal senses."
Hey, Stormtaker, can you buy the packs after the game is out, like 3 months later? Yeah, of course. Supporter packs will always be there. They're not. I can't foresee them to take it down. Like, I personally think early access of Path of Exile 2 is gonna it's a minimum 6 months. I personally think the full release isn't gonna happen until the fall of 2025, and that's just me taking a guess. Just going on by the information. And Jonathan's saying that he really, hopefully, doesn't want to see it go past 2025. So I'm just putting that together and coming up with my own guess. But yes, you can definitely... Actually, we're going to be doing a key giveaway on Twitch very soon. So you can enter it and hopefully you win a key and then you don't have to worry about it. I agree. I would veer more towards closer to the year than 6 months. Yeah, Mage and Koba. I think it's going to be, next fall, a year this month. Like, it's going to be there, but who knows, right? We're all guessing right now. Lost Ark was you had to get the packs before the game came out, otherwise you'd be locked out. Yeah, no, you won't. You're not going to have that problem.
I heard Piety speak to her lackeys of the beast. It is the source of her thaumaturgy and the object of her ambitions. I believe Piety's beast and that dark entity are one and the same.
Yeah, no worries, Stormtaker.
It would not be a stretch of reason to consider the beast the source of all malformation in Rayclast. A secondary pursuit was to create the perfect gemling, which is where Diala comes in. Since Malachi was the only one to understand the beast and know it was the source of thaumaturgy, he was able to convince Vol and trick Diala into believing that Malachi could and would kill the beast to end thaumaturgy. Malachi wants to remake the world in the image of Nightmare. Malachi, with the beast's power, is able to influence the outside world and has since the
Thanks for the
Cataclysm.
follows, everyone. Thank you.
We enter the black core of the beast with Piety, who transforms multiple times between her original self and Malachi's nightmare version of her, under his control. Eventually she is killed, and we follow Malachi into the heart of the beast itself. Once we slay Malachi, it seems we have slain the beast as well. Such is their connection at this point. Perhaps Malachi sought immortality, but his decision to keep his organs, a sentimental mistake, allows us to kill him and the beast that has so long influenced the world with its power of nightmare. We return to Highgate, where we are congratulated by most on our bravery for killing the beast that caused the
Who
cataclysm.
doesn't congratulate us?
Everyone but Tasuni. While Tasuni tells us of a path to Oriath
div
that is
card
opened on
guy?
the mountaintop, he
Thanks
seems
for the
less
follow.
than enthused at the death of the
Hey,
beast.
Warlock Juker.
With this foreboding in mind, we make our way to a portal to Oriath. Welcome back.
Act 5, boys and girls. The launch is sadly on finals week, so I'll watch Sammy instead. Ben, much love and thank you. But please, promise me you are going to concentrate on the finals. Okay? Concentrate on the finals. That's more important than any game or my stream. Thank you so much, though. I appreciate it. Do concentrate on the finals. Concentrate on the finals. That's the #1 priority, okay? Promise me that. Of course, you're part of the fam here, so you're always welcome. Hey, what's up, Warlock Juker? And sorry, Ben, that finals are on the launch of this epic game, man. That sucks, but it doesn't matter. The game's still going to be here after you ace all your finals, and you'll be able to play it with complete satisfaction knowing you aced your finals. Headshot. How long is the early access for cause me and my friends arguing? LOL. I said it's early access, but you completely... What? How long is the early access? Me and my friend are arguing. LOL. I said to him it's early access, but you completely keep the game.
Thanks for the follow.
Do you think the game is going to be bigger than Diablo 4? Stormtaker? Are you serious? Yes. It's not even close, in my opinion. They said 6 to 12 months, but once released, the game is free.
Thanks
Better
for the
reviewed. Doubt it. More people. Thank you for the follow. I personally think early access is going to last 9 to 12 months. And then the full release, again, my speculation, I think the full release is not going to happen until the fall of next year, so 2025. But who knows? It could be longer, it could be shorter. It's definitely going to
Thanks
be
for the follow.
6 months, minimum 6 months. That's what Jonathan has stated, and you got to take his word. I don't see it being any shorter than 6 months. So,
Thanks for the follow.
holy crap, guys. Thank you for the follow. I think he means if their characters in progress will stay after the early access or nah. Will you still get the points and stats? Okay, so your early access characters are not going to go and be moved to the full release game. It's going to go to like a standard version of early access. So
Thanks for the follow.
we're not going to get to keep the progress when the full release comes out. No, it's, I think Jonathan said it's going to be like the standard realm or whatever
Thanks
you
for the
call it.
follow.
But it's an early access standard thing. If hopefully that makes sense. I think 6 months is optimistic. Would be happy if 12 months timeline is enough time. You think there will be a complete wipe or go standard? No, there's going to be a complete wipe. I did see the Ascendancy Sir Groove a lot. There's going to be a complete wipe. There's a possibility of wipes during early access. You guys have to remember, grinding gear games, if they come up with problems, if there's something broken that breaks builds that's not part of the intent of the mechanics, they're going to wipe the server, right? Apparently, we're going to get some sort of free respec, but again, take that with a grain of salt. Don't hold me to that. It all depends on what they're fixing. So all this stuff is going to flesh out, guys. You have to understand, December 6th, we're getting 3 acts. We're getting endgame. We're getting 6 classes. But the early access is going to double in size by the end of it, if that makes any sense. They're going to have, to my understanding, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to be introducing like league mechanics in early access. Like they're testing all this stuff out, guys. So this is like an evolve. It's going to evolve early access. You have did you see, oh okay, saw that. Will it have a battle pass? Well, Path of Exile has that subtle one. I don't know, they might keep that. I think he's just crying because people are paying the game to play. Like, he should be happy because I got him the game. Okay, I think standard, since PoE is a league thing and you always have legacy items. Yeah, the difference being it's going to go into an, you know, an early access standard thing. You have an interesting thought about one skill that might be bogus. Dupes, major breaks, and exploits require a strong response. Right. Yep. Yeah, they're gonna fix it. That's the point of early access. They have to give some benefits to the early access people, like any other game, since playing the game in early access, supporting the game somehow. Yeah, and Dole the Gambler, we know. So we already know the next two classes that are on deck that are going to be introduced. They're not going to be there on December 6th. We know the 6 classes. The next 2 classes that are first to be introduced after December 6th, I don't know when, are the Druid and the Huntress. We know those 2 are the next on deck. So again, it's an ever-evolving content to an already amazing depth of content. Like, early access this Friday is deeper, has more content than most full games that are currently being played right now. Like, I'm not the only one saying it. Everyone's saying it. Every league okay. I'm looking forward to the Druid the most after the Witch minion. Yeah. Block might be really cool too. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. With all the shit show some game companies are doing, seeing GGG or even Larian from Baldur's Gate 3 having such a huge success, kind of a happy ending. Yeah. I dropped a video on YouTube today that spoke about, like, I was like, what makes grinding gear games so different? And this past year, just seeing Jonathan out and about and doing, you know, all his interviews and you know, this is what all studios do, right? When you're ramping up to a major release, you're out there doing interviews, getting the word out, right? And it's the more I watched him, the more obvious it became to me why Path of Exile's been able to capture.
Thanks for the follow.
Thank you for the follow, guys. Why Path of Exile's been able to capture such a steady audience and steady player base for over 10 years, and why I believe, and so many others believe, that Path of Exile 2 is going to be the king of ARPGs. It's taking it to another level, and it all goes down to the leadership of Jonathan and Grinding Gear Games as a team. They don't accept mediocrity. They're huge risk takers. They don't mind taking risk. If they fuck up, they're going to fix it. If they get it right, then they get it right. You know what I mean? Like, they're willing to take risks. And I say this in my video today, and the receipts are in their actions. You know, like, to delay the early access by 3 weeks, that took a lot of balls with all the hype that was on that game, you know? To reduce the utility flasks and only have 1 health flask and 1 mana flask. To take the sockets, to do what they did with like, I can go on and on and on, right? Like, they're not afraid to evolve. Hey, Murder Man, the hype is arguably even better now. Yeah, I was saying a while back, like, this is crazy. I've never seen it so positive. So positive. Usually you have a mix, man. There's a mix, right? Anyway. It's crazy.
Thanks for the follow.
All right, guys. Hold on. Let me put this here. All right, let's do this giveaway. Hopefully I don't F it up.
Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow.
Thanks for the follow, guys. Okay, everybody on Twitch. Sorry, YouTube. Hopefully this works, guys.
Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow.
Exclamation raffle, guys. Exclamation raffle.
Thanks for the follow.
Sorry, guys. Streamlabs. It's only on Twitch, guys. Sorry, YouTube. Streamlabs is making an error here. You're gonna have to head over. You're gonna have to head over to Twitch, guys. Sorry, YouTube.
Thanks for the follow.
Oh my God.
Thanks for the follow.
Oh my God, Streamlabs. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys on YouTube.
Thanks for the follow.
3 minutes left, guys. We're gonna do 3 minutes. Sorry, we gave 4 minutes, so you got 4 minutes.
Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow.
God, please, I really can't buy it right now. Yeah, good luck, everyone. Good luck.
Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow.
Two minutes. 2 minutes.
Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow.
You only have to enter once, guys. You only have to enter once. Twitch, you only need to enter once.
For the follow. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow.
Pretty good odds. Pretty good odds, everyone. I gotta say, the odds are pretty good. 1 more minute, guys. 1 more minute. Exclamation raffle on Twitch for 1 POE2 early access key. 36 seconds. Exclamation raffle on Twitch.
Thanks for the follow.
This is a community key. My amazing community donated this key to me.
Thanks for the follow.
20 seconds, everyone. 20 seconds.
Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow.
XBI, this is for early access. Full game is free, bro. Full game is free. 3 seconds. 2, 1. What happened? You guys broke it. Good luck, everyone. Oh my God, you guys broke
Thanks
it.
for the follow.
It's stuck at 2 seconds. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, are you guys ready? Oh, wait.
Thanks for the follow.
Okay, guys, these are pretty good odds. Now, you guys,
Thanks for the follow.
these are really, really good odds. Okay, just shy of 100 entries. Well, not really. Less than 100 entries. So these are really good odds. What am I looking for here? Okay, I want to play an epic song here. One sec. Yep. Let's get a Gucci song here. We're gonna draw the winner momentarily, guys. Hold on. I want to get some good music here. Okay, here we go. Here we go. You guys ready? Suspense. All right. Wait. You guys ready? I'm dying here. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. What the fuck happened here? Okay, guys. Okay, guys, I don't want to screw this up, so hold on a sec. We're going to have to redo it, guys. Sorry. I'm going to put a 2-minute limit on it. This way it's done. My apologies. My apologies. Okay, I'm only going to do... The last one was 4 minutes. The last one was 4 minutes. This one's going to be quick. My bad, guys. My bad. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Guys, exclamation raffle. Exclamation raffle. Do it again, please. My apologies. This one's only 2 minutes. So hurry up and get in there. It's only 2 minutes, guys. And again, apologies. All right. Awesome. Looks like you guys all jumped back in. Thank you. Thank you. Not going to fuck up this time. A minute 20 left, guys. Exclamation raffle on Twitch. This is for a Path of Exile 2 early access key. Exclamation raffle on Twitch. Get your name in there. Hopefully I don't fuck it up. 1 minute, 60 seconds, boys and girls. Exclamation raffle on Twitch. Get your name in. 40 seconds. 40 seconds. $30 seconds. Exclamation raffle. Exclamation raffle. This is for one Path of Exile 2 early access key, boys and girls. 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Five seconds. Exclamation raffle. One, and it's over. You guys ready? I'm not gonna fuck it up this time, guys. Thank you for all the entries. Good luck, boys and girls. The lucky winner of this key, which was donated to us by my community. I think you're gonna have a good time with this key. There it is. Congratulations, Chris. Chris is here. Congratulations, man. Congratulations, Chris. Are you here, Chris? Chris is here.
Thanks for the follow.
Ah, Chris is here. Awesome. Awesome, Chris. Awesome. Okay. Another Chris. Yeah. Chris, if you don't mind, can you send me a whisper on Twitch? Can you send me a whisper on Twitch right now, Chris? And I'll give you the key code right now, brother. Again, thank you to my awesome community for donating these keys. Thank you, guys. You guys are fucking awesome. All right, let me grab one of the keys. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, we'll start top to bottom. No problem, Chris is here. No problem. Congratulations. And guys, we're going to be giving away more keys, so there's always next time, as they say. Yeah, and enjoy, Chris. Enjoy, man. I love when someone doesn't expect to win and they're ecstatic about it. So obviously I would love for all you guys to win, but as they say, there's only one winner. The goddamn music in this game is going to be, forget about the gameplay. The music in this game looks like it's been elevated. Yeah. Well, and thanks to you guys,
Thanks for the follow.
And you You guys are
Thanks for the
killing
follow.
Streamlabs, man. Like, you guys are killing Streamlabs. You're killing Streamlabs, man. Like, I can't keep up. This is unfriggin' real. It's been nonstop. Nonstop. It's crazy. Like, there was a second there I thought I was getting DDoSed. Oh, you messaged me? Okay. Here we go. Ah, there you are. Awesome, Chris. I see
Thanks
it.
for the follow.
I see it. Enjoy, brother. There you go, Chris. Code set. Code set. Enjoy, man. Rip Streamlabs, eh? Agent Jace. Yeah. Rip Streamlabs. Yeah, we just give a key. We just gave away a key for early access code. Oh, okay. So you guys thought that was good. Where's the other one? This is another epic one. Sorry, guys. I'm big into the game's music, man. You got more for us, Daddy? Yeah, we're gonna be giving away keys, guys. We got a couple of more. Rip Streamlabs. Oh my God, too good, too good. All right, Chris. Looks like you got the message. He said thanks. Awesome. Chris, that specific keys from Mage and Koba, please make sure you thank him from our community. Mage and Koba donated that key, so thank you very much, Mage and Koba. Thank you so much, man. Friggin' awesome. A cage match? It's a simple raffle, man. You just got to be here when I'm doing the draw. It's not going to go to waste, Mage and Koba. It's not going to go to waste. And just for everyone's clarity, if I determine the winner is a bot or not a legitimate account, I will do another raffle and not give it to that person. Unfortunately, as you guys know, with Path of Exile 2 early access coming up, there's a lot of the content creators are giving away keys. They're giving back to the community and spreading the love through their community. And unfortunately, bots and all this kind of shit, they always pop up. So if I feel the winner is a bot, then obviously we'll just do another raffle. The hype is crazy. Mama Sov. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Literally unbelievable. I've never, we were talking about this earlier. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. You posted a picture of Discord with a spoiler tag for people who don't want to see it. It's just a skill description. One sec, guys. Guys, I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Thanks for the follow.
You guys are in dead silence. I'm so sorry. We got a little bit of snow tonight, so my daughter was calling me about getting her car into the garage. She hasn't put her snow tires on yet, so where were we here? Sorry, everybody. Let's get this back here. All right. Where the hell were we? Sorry, everyone. I'm just getting my bearings here right now. Ooh, Sir Groovalot. I see your post on Discord here. Okay, I'm not gonna click that. Although I'm probably not gonna be playing the monk. Oh, that's right. Act 5. Thank you.
Exile to another video in Noodle's complete lore series. This video covers Act 5 and our return to Oriath. Let's get started. At the end of Act 4, we travel to the top of Mount Veruso and find a large device called the Resonator that activates a portal to Oriath. This device was left by Dominus, and is how Piety and Dominus were able to travel between Rayclast and Oriath without raising suspicion. We enter the portal and end up in the slave pens of Theopolis, capital city of Oriath. As we heard from Marimoa
You were
in
just
Sarn
excited for
and
your
the
theory,
Mariketh
yeah.
of Highgate, Oriath has
I'll take a look at it
continued the
later.
Empire's tradition of enslaving the Karui, Mariketh, and Ezamites. The Oriath slave enforcers attack us as we make our way through the pens, but we also see slaves who are friendly and also fighting these enemies. All across the ground you can see corpses and grates where hands desperately reach out to escape. A slave rebellion has begun. We fight our way through the pens until we come across Overseer Crow. When we kill him, a ladder is lowered from above, allowing us to escape the rebellion in the pens to the Overseer's Tower. The Overseer's Tower was once run by the Oriath who controlled and sold the slaves below, but it is now the refuge of a strange mixed group of survivors
Valakura.
of the rebellion.
Hello.
Hiding in the tower are Utula, Lani, and Valenta. Utula is a Karui who has been a slave in Oriath. He started the slave rebellion we just fought through, in the name of the Karui god Kitava, who Utula calls the Tormented One. Utula says Kitava, the immortal slave, understands our plight like no other. In regards to the slaves he has rallied into rebellion. Lani is a half Karui, half Oriath woman. She was raised as an Oriath and not a Karui slave, but in this rebellion she sided with the Karui slaves and fought 2 overseers herself, which left her mortally wounded. Lani credits Valenta with saving her life. Valenta is an Oriath woman who specializes in medicine. She was actually experimenting on the Karui slaves before the rebellion. But when she saved Lani's life,
Thank you, Valentine.
Lani insisted that Valenta be allowed to live. Valenta and Piety worked for Dominus together. And Valenta says, "Piety and I have devoted ourselves to the betterment of the human condition. As for our methods," Piety had a saying that summed it up nicely. "Would you consider the feelings of the stones when constructing a glorious cathedral in the name of God?" When Piety left for Rayclast, Valenta was furious, as Valenta felt she had devoted her life and her work to Piety's vision. She created a tool called the miasmeter, which she used to keep an eye on Rayclast, particularly Piety. Valenta tells us that through this instrument she heard the beast scream as it died, and she knows it was our doing. Valenta had to leave the miasmeter behind during the slave rebellion, and she wants us to retrieve it. Lani wants us to find and kill Justicar Casticus, the man who supplied Karui slaves to Valenta for her experiments. We leave the tower to the control blocks, which is where Valenta used to experiment on slaves. We travel through this maze of a slave pen and find Valenta's miasmeter, and also run into Justicar Casticus, who Valenta used to work alongside. Justicar Casticus is a member of the Templars, which High Templar Dominus used to lead. We kill Justicar Casticus and make our way out of the control blocks into the large open area of the Oriath Square, Center Theopolis. This square connects to every major area of Theopolis. These areas include the Templar Courts, the Cathedral, the Ossuary, and the Reliquary. The Templars have been their own power in Oriath since before the Purity Rebellion, but the founding of Oriath itself is unclear. A man named Templar Devaro, a contemporary under High Templar Dominus, studied artifacts brought from Rayclast to Oriath about the Val. Through his research, there is evidence that the Val were on Oriath as well. Before now, Oriath was untouched by the cataclysm that plagued Rayclast, but there has clearly been unrest. The death of High Templar Dominus seems to be a partial catalyst for this change, but something else seems to be motivating this rebellion. The Templar Courts and the Chamber of Innocence are the center stronghold for the Templars. The Templars are a religious order, and as we make our way through the courts to the inner chambers, we learn about their god, Innocence. Innocence is an ancient god, and in the Chamber of Innocence we read his origins on the ornate stained glass. Innocence and Sin are brother gods from the Mother of Two. The story says that Innocence listened to their mother and was rewarded for his virtuous nature. Sin stole and lied, and so Innocence told the mother that Sin was beyond rule and redemption, and Sin was burned to ash. Mankind breathed in the ash of Sin, and Sin took root in the bodies of men and women and children. Innocence swore to burn all traces of Sin in the world. No matter where the ashes of Sin fell, his purifying flames would rise to meet them. The Templar Order started when Innocence created a weapon called the Staff of Purity and bestowed it to the first High Templar, named Maximus. This weapon was part of Innocence himself and thus imbued with his essence. The Templars have worshipped Innocence and the idea of purifying mankind of sin ever since their inception. Both High Templar Vol and High Templar Dominus held the same seat, yet they had very different standards of purity. Vol, as we saw in his Purity Rebellion, believed all thaumaturgy was evil and planned to destroy the root of it. Dominus saw thaumaturgy as a way to become more powerful, to give himself and his followers...
Is there like some sort of feedback on her mic? Or is that just the gameplay?
...the touch of God. At the end of the Chamber of Innocence, we meet the newly appointed High Templar, Avarius. Utula tells us, with Dominus away in Rayclast, someone had to keep the wheels of oppression turning. Avarius was only too happy to take the job. It was Avarius who led some of the largest and most crippling raids upon the Namakanui.
Yeah, like that's the sound that I sometimes get when, because I'm in my basement, so there's a furnace like really behind me. Not behind me, but in the room here. And my basement is not finished. So I get that when the furnace is on. You're absolutely right. It does sound like that.
It was on his
sounds
orders
like a
that
fan.
men,
Oh, it could be a
women, and
fan.
children
Yeah,
were
yeah,
shackled and shipped like cattle to Theopolis. And it was Avarius who spent 5,000 Karui lives building.
Yeah, I got a smelter. And I got it hooked up to the furnace. I got the whole setup here. Yep. I got crafting tables, furnace, smelter. I got it all.
His Templar courts and his Chamber of
HVAC
Innocence,
system, yeah.
who had wives and daughters scrub their husbands' and fathers' blood from the stones so as to preserve their purity. We fight High Templar Avarius, who seems fanatic. When he falls, something similar to Dominus's transformation happens.
That staff of
Only
purity.
this time Avarius does not turn into a vision of nightmare, he becomes a god, Innocence. While Utula and Valenta have hinted at this as we progress through Oriath, it is now clear. Somehow, gods of old roam free. This is the true cause of panic and uprising in Oriath. When Utula says that he is a follower of Kitava, he does not simply refer to the lessons of this old god. He has communion with the real Kitava. And naturally, Innocence, when reborn, goes to the Templars that worship him. Innocence chose High Templar Avarius and took over his body. Fighting Innocence is significantly more challenging than fighting Avarius, but upon his defeat, the aforementioned brother of Innocence, the god Sin, appears. We can now assume all gods in the lore of Rayclast and Oriath might be real. Unlike the Templars' writings about Sin, it seems that Sin is actually concerned for the well-being of mankind. Sin informs us that killing the beast has awoken all the old gods. How does Sin know this? Because Sin is the creator of the beast. Sin created the beast specifically to keep the gods at bay in a deep slumber, the nightmare. This nightmare was powerful enough to keep all the gods asleep, but it also drew the attention of many power-seeking mortals throughout Rayclast's history. And here we thought we were saving the world by killing the beast. Or maybe Valenta was right, and we had no benevolent intentions in slaying the beast. Perhaps we are just killers and opportunists ourselves. Sin wants to see the gods of old subdued once more, and since we were able to slay Malachi and the beast, Sin tasks us with this, with promises of more power. After we defeat Innocence and meet Sin, we emerge from the Chamber of Innocence to find a man named Bannon demanding we explain ourselves. Bannon was a former blackguard, as the Ebony Legion we have seen on Rayclast originates in Oriath under the High Templars. When we re-enter the Templar courts, everything is now on fire. The destruction of Innocence has allowed the other god present in Oriath to take over. He has marked himself all over the Templar courts with a red X, and his cultists run amok. This is Kitava, the Karui god that Utula had mentioned earlier and that Kaum himself feared. When we return to the Overseer's Tower, Bannon is waiting for us, but Utula is missing. Lani informs us that Utula left as soon as Innocence was vanquished, claiming he was called by Kitava. Valenta tells us Innocence's Staff of Purity is a real weapon we can find in the ossuary, and that we should use it to defeat Kitava. Lani knows of ancient Karui artifacts in the Reliquary, a place where holy relics are kept, and she believes we may learn more about Kitava there. The Oriath Square is in ruins as well, covered in the blood and fervor of Kitava's cultists. We must traverse this ruined square to find the information and tools suggested to defeat Kitava. When we enter the square, we can hear Utula shouting to the followers of Kitava, yelling what seems like a sermon. Fun fact, Utula has his sermon of Kitava written down by Erwin of Theopolis into the Holy Book of Hunger, clearly in the style of religious texts, even calling himself High Priest Utula. Utula has been transformed by Kitava into Utula Stone and Steel. We defeat this monstrous vision of Utula and continue on to the Reliquary. The Reliquary is a place where ancient and holy relics are kept, and here we can find 3 relics of the Karui gods. As we gather the Karui artifacts for Lani, we find writings about Kitava himself. The 3 entries chronicle the story of Kitava and Tukahama. To summarize,
they're all in the corners.
daughter of the moon, wanted to have a feast for Tukahama returning from war with the first ones of the Ezamites. Tawa, son of the forest, gathered birds to be cooked for the feast. Kitava, the god of hunger, told Aruhungai he would watch the birds as they cooked, but instead he ate all of them. When Tukahama arrived, Aruhungai told what happened and asked for Kitava to be punished. Tukahama pulled out his tooth, one of the artifacts we find, and cut Kitava across the face in 2 diagonal strokes, blinding him and marking him with a large X, which we've seen symbolized in the Templar courts, and spoilers, we will see face to face later. To replace the birds Kitava ate, Tukahama and Velako, father of the storm, go fishing with Kitava. In the boat, Kitava eats all the bait for the fish. Velako takes off his own jaw, the second Karui artifact, and cooks Kitava,
WD-40.
intending to use him as bait for the fish instead. At the bottom of the sea, Kitava eats all of the fish. When Tukahama and Velako pull him up, they decide Kitava needs ultimate punishment. They take Kitava to Hinakora, the mother of death. They ask Hinakora to kill Kitava so that he does not starve the rest of the Karui. Hinakora decides death is not the correct punishment, as a lesson needs to be learned. Hinakora beats Kitava with a whip made of her own hair, the 3rd Karui artifact. She drives him to the underworld with her hair whip and leaves him to suffer without food or water for eternity. And that is where Kitava had remained, starving and tormented. That is, until we killed the beast and set the gods free. While this may seem like a fable intended to teach mortals a lesson, we can assume at least some of the tale is literal. The artifacts are real, and as we've seen, so is Kitava. The ossuary is a place where the bones of dead Oriath are placed. As we make our way through the maze of bones, we find the Staff of Purity. With knowledge of Kitava and the Staff of Purity, we make off for the cathedral to face Kitava. Kitava is on the roof of the Theopolis Cathedral. Kitava is a primal god like sin or innocence, unlike the mortals who became gods. He is the god of hunger. His punishment by the other Karui gods has inflamed his desire to
Thanks for the
consume.
follow.
When Malachi spoke to Kaum through Nightmare, he told Kaum that the
Thank you,
world was
Spooky.
infested with Kitava's followers, and that Tukahama would give Kaum an offering to free his Karui from oppression. Haku, a Karui, believes that Kaum's vision to lead his Karui to Mount Verusa was actually Kitava's corruption, bringing him to madness and turning Kaum into one of Kitava's slaves, like Utula. While Kaum's vision may have actually been a dream from Nightmare with a Karui interpretation rather than Kitava's direct influence, it seems Kitava can truly corrupt and consume everything around him. Kitava's massive size and power seem an imminent threat to Oriath. Just like the beast before, we will attempt to defeat something that has been undefeated for centuries. We take Innocence's Staff of Purity and plant it like a banner to aid us in this fight. Kitava is insanely powerful, and halfway through the battle, the Staff of Purity is broken, and so are we. We fall to the ground, and Sin flies down to gather us before we are consumed by Kitava. Sin carries us to the Oriath docks, where a woman named Lily Roth offers to sail us back to Rayclast.
Wow. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Lemon Das, no, I am not a POE veteran. No, not at all. I love hearing this. My very first experience with Path of Exile was in the Crucible League 3.21. And Settlers of Kalgor was my most played league. But everything between Crucible and Settlers of Kalgor was, in and out very quick. And some of them like 3.22, 2.3, like they just really in and out. So very, very, well, I wouldn't say very, very new, but I would definitely consider myself like a noob in Path of Exile. I know stuff, but there's a lot more to learn. Still curious. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, that's what's exciting about POE2 is the fact that I really missed the boat with Path of Exile. Really missed the boat. And the fact that POE2, I will be there from the beginning and starting like everyone else. Now, obviously, POE veterans are going to have more knowledge, and that's going to help in a lot of ways in POE2. So, but still, the fact that we're all going to be there learning from day one, I'm excited about that. For me personally, and I'm excited for what this game has to offer for new players that have never stepped foot in Rayclast. And there's a lot of them. A lot of them in my community. I have a good mishmash of very super veteran players and never played. So it's super exciting. You missed out on POE 1. Yeah, there you go. There you go. There's so many. This game, just what it's done to the genre, is crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's brought a lot of players in this space together. And I would argue that are typically used to like throwing rocks at each other. Again, small percentage, right? For the most part, everyone is good with each other, but that's super exciting. Super exciting. Exactly. To play the game in its simplest form is still not simple, but this is as close as we will ever get. Yeah. That's another beautiful thing about this game. It looks like, I've said this a million times, Path of Exile 2 has lowered a lot of the barriers that kept players away from Path of Exile. And it's done that and still kept the complexity of Path of Exile and what makes the game so endearing to so many people. It's that balance. Jonathan was in an interview,
Thanks
and
for the follow.
You know, he said one of the things that they had to balance was keeping the OG POE players happy and new players happy. That's a hell of a balance, right? So we're going to find out starting Friday if they've accomplished it. It looks like they have, but we'll see. They said the game's not coming out this year, but a couple years later. AO, it's JJ. No, it's not going to be look, it's all speculation right now, but early access is going to be minimum 6 months. I think it's going to be 9 to 12 months. I think sometime in the fall next year. And again, this is all speculation. Sometime next year, in the fall, sorry. That's my guess. I think we're looking at 9 to 12 months and then the full release. You know, Jonathan said he doesn't want to go past 2025, but who knows, right? No one knows the problems, what they got to fix, what, you know, they don't know. So if all is good, maybe we only get a 6-7 month early access. You know, but I don't foresee it. A couple of years? No, I don't think so. But who knows? It doesn't matter. We got so much it's so much goddamn content, bro. Starting this Friday, there's enough content to keep us satisfied for a while. And they said in early access, they're going to double the content in early access, right? So it's crazy. No, 6 to 12 months estimate. Yeah, well, everything's an estimate. Everything is an estimate. We have no idea, right? We don't know. We don't know. I don't know. Like, I personally am not stressing on that. I just think there's so much to do in this game that I think it's going to come quicker than we think. If that makes any sense. They're going to be doing so many things, fixes. They're going to be adding new classes to early access. They've talked about doing like league mechanics in it. Like, this is all new shit. And they're doubling the size of it in early access. So think about that for a second, right? It's just the title, not really relevant unless you're waiting for it to be free. Brett in the box! Hey, Brett. How are you, man? How you doing? "24 more ascendancies and 3 more campaigns. No way they can finish it in 6 months. 1 year minimum, in my opinion." Yeah, who knows? You're doing good? You're waiting for the new game? Yeah, all of us are, man. All of us are waiting. This has been a rough week. This has been a rough week. Time is going like effing slow, man. Yeah. Yeah. Like, it doesn't, personally, whatever. If it takes them a year, if it takes them 9 months, if it takes them 13, 14, 15 months, whatever. They got to cook, they got to cook. Right? I just love that most of all my stash tabs and old MTX will transfer for Path of Exile too. Yeah, like MTX and crossplay. I don't think crossplay is getting enough talk. Crossplay is going to be epic. Couch co-op is going to be epic. I know personally I'm looking forward to couch co-op. I'm looking forward to running couch co-op with some other creators. Like Hog and I already talked, and we're going to do couch co-op sometime in the new year. Like, there's all this, man. It's just, I'm sounding like a shill, but it's the truth. Got some old armor sets from events. Oh, nice. I watched D4 hype for many months before release, but there wasn't the hype about how good people thought it would be. Yeah, Mr. Cove, for that game, the hype was self-manufactured, right? Like, I look at where the hype is coming from. If the hype is coming from the studio, from the, you know, that's different when the hype is coming from the community and, you know, media types. And like, okay, media types you can kind of say, okay, you know, but I we were talking about this earlier where it's just crazy how lopsided the positivity is. I've never, ever seen it. I don't know. You guys tell me if you've ever seen this. It's so lopsided and so positive. ESD WAC, we just literally did a raffle, bro. There's no raffle right now. We literally just did a raffle. NYC Raw, what's up? GGG deserves the hype because the content and mechanics we got from POE1 is still awesome. They have my full trust on this. Yeah. Grinding Gear Games earned the trust. Like, they earned it. It wasn't given, it was earned. Not much, man. How you doing? I hope the launch is somehow smooth. Seems really hard and doesn't kill any of the hype. Yeah, but you know what? This is where you grow as a company, as a studio. You know, you want to set the standard. You want to elevate the genre. You want to say that, you know, we want our early access to be equivalent or more in content as far as a full release. You know, you talk all this stuff, then you got to deliver, right? And I totally trust Grinding Gear Games as well. I totally trust them. But that doesn't mean it's going to be a success on Friday. We don't know. We're going to find out one way or another. No launch is ever smooth. Yeah, to expect 100% flawless, I think, is a little unrealistic. It just depends what the issues are. That's all. Like, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about, you know, a 20-minute wait to get in the game and then you're good to go? Are we talking about you getting DC'd every 20 minutes? For the whole night? For weeks? You know, these are different problems. Matt, he knew it was hard to, what is it? Yeah, even if POE2 is just a reskin, I think it would still be worth getting excited for, but it's a new story and some quality of life improvements. I'm interested to see how the balancing is different and if there will be a much power creep. Oh, it's anything but how Last Epoch was. Yeah, Brett. I feel bad for 11th Hour Games, man. They deserved better. They deserved better. You know, that sucked, that launch of theirs 1.0. I felt really, really bad. That's another good studio. 11th Hour Games looks like a good studio for Last Epoch. And I say this all the time, every time Last Epoch comes up. Don't sleep on Last Epoch. It's going to be a banger. Just needs a lot of time to cook. They're a super small studio. Yeah, Mr. Cove, I think you're missing the point You know? Like, I hear what you're saying. POE2 ain't gonna make $1 billion, but D4 was more like a movie. Their marketing was crazy. Yeah. But, you know, you're comparing Costco to like a corner store, you know? And I don't think Grinding Gear Games, look, they're a business too. Of course, sales are important, but I think their priority is making a good game, and the money will come. I've said that a million times too. You launched POE2 on console? Just look at the menu screen. Yeah. So Xbox got to download the client a couple of days ago.
Thanks for the follow.
So NYC Raw, yeah, you're just going to be able to see the screen and the options. You're not going to obviously be able to go into the game at all. Thanks for the follow, guys. GG has word of mouth. Tried and true. GGG didn't spend much. They don't have to. They don't have to, man. Build it and they will come. It's that simple. Build it and they will come. And they're coming. They are coming. You're the one comparing them to D4. D4 is a AAA studio. It's a multiple billion-dollar organization. 8,000 people on that dev team. Was over 9,000. 8,000 compared to 130. There's no comparison. Apples and oranges, bro. LOL, please. Every video is how POE2 will kill D4. It already. Anyway, whatever. I'm not going to fall. What do you want me to say, Mr. Cove? There's nothing I'm going to tell you. You know? Nothing I'm going to say to you that's going to convince you one way or another. And to be honest with you, it really doesn't matter. As they say, the evidence is here. D4 is also paying it out to investors. They don't have the passion into the game like other companies. You can't have it both ways. I don't have it both ways. I don't have it both ways. See, the only argument people have against my argument that Path of Exile and Grinding Gear Games is a better game is people from ABK and Diablo 4. The only thing they can throw is sales and how many people play the game. I'm like, I'm not going to argue with that. You could have 1 million people playing D4.
Thanks for the follow.
They sold how much? 666 million in sales the first 6 days? It's $1 billion corporation, bro. I'm not talking sales. I'm not talking concurrent player counts. I'm not talking any of that shit. I'm talking about the game. The game. The game. That's where I'm talking about. Then it what? It didn't kill D4? Again, your metrics are not my metrics. You're measuring it by sales and players. I don't measure it that way. I measure it, what is the game? Is it better? That's how I measure things. I don't know. I can't be any more clearer. You know what I mean? I know you may not agree with that, but so be it. Everyone can have their own opinion. Better to a minority, I guess? Yeah, I guess so. No, you do agree? Ah. Okay. Yeah. It's like comparing Verizon Wireless to Cricket Wireless. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to get into it, guys. Okay, so, guys, thank you for all the follows. This week, we've been closing the stream a lot earlier, prepping for Friday. We're going to continue the madness tomorrow. Thank you to the community for giving us some more keys. We're going to hand out more keys tomorrow. I'm probably going to do... sorry, guys, I got caught up in the lore and watching watching that video. And we're going to give keys away again tomorrow. I'm going to reveal the class that I'm going to be playing tomorrow. I got to put this music louder. And again, tomorrow is not going to be a super, super long one. Just because Friday, when I'm going to be here, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm probably going to hop on an hour before, but we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. So we got keys again tomorrow. I'm going to reveal my class. We're going to talk all kinds of stuff. If anything new pops up, obviously we're going to be talking about it. But thank you so much for the follows. Thank you so much for the support. And guys, I'm going to be streaming early access from the second it drops on Friday all the way through till Monday, only with sleep breaks. Oof. It's going to be a good one. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. And if you could like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, hit the follow button on Twitch. There's going to be Twitch drops during early access, guys. Grinding Gear Games announced it. There's going to be Twitch drops. So make sure you come over to my stream. And there's like 3 prizes or 3 things that you can win. And if you gift 2 subscriptions on Twitch, you get the pet. So there's a bunch of stuff. We'll probably cover that tomorrow as well. But anyway, man, you guys have been blowing it out of the water lately, man. Thank you so much. I'm blessed having you guys all here. I really do appreciate it. It's so much fun. The community is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just warms my heart. So thank you so much, everybody. All right, we're going to go out in style. Peace, everybody. Thanks. Thank you again for all the support. Make sure you come back if you're new. Don't be a stranger. We'd love to have you. Okay. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night, okay? And remember, get your rest in. Peace.